All right, let's get this started here. DarkViperAU, the spookiest guy on YouTube. I'm just kidding. I'm not a particular fan of this guy. We're obviously going to get into it more and more, but Willie Mack made a video about him. He's been beefing with some of the commentary individuals. He seems to like to take people's videos down because he does. I don't think that he I don't know, man. Listen, I understand that there's a conversation about the way some people do different types of commentary. You know, not everybody is the biggest fan of the type of commentary that I do, which I do full video reactions. Now, I don't even know if I'd call it reactions anymore. I feel like reaction is a huge thing. I like to say I do conversational content, right? I'll engage with a video and then I'll add a lot of meaningful commentary. If you might have a criticism like, oh, I don't think that you should watch the full video. I feel like it takes views away from other people. I kind of disagree. I think that as long as I'm adding enough to the video, and I'm citing my source of the other person, that if you're here for my commentary on the video, you will stay. If you listen to me and you're like, I don't like what this guy has to say, or I find him annoying, or he talks too much, you will go and you'll watch the original one. You know, I don't think it takes away from the other audience. If anything, I think it exposes my audience to someone else's audience that might like it. I don't really see a net loss. You might disagree, and that's perfectly fine, and that's fine. But I don't know, there's something about Dark Viper that just bothers me. I don't know. I think that he's very whiny. I didn't like the comparisons he made when he made his video about commentary, and it seems like, from what I've seen, and I'm sure we'll see more in this video, that he doesn't really, he seems to be very sensitive about his criticism. You know, one of the things I like about watching somebody's full video is I get to comment on all the specifics. I can't take you out of context. I can't cut you out of context. I mean, I could accidentally take you out of context, but since I'm watching your full video, it's very hard to do that. And I like that about it, but it seems like he removes people's videos because he doesn't like the criticism he gets. He's been beefing with Chud Logic, that's content creator. Seems like a decent guy. Over reasonable commentary. You know, I think but you know what? Maybe we'll find out more. Let's just see what Willie Mack has to say. What's up, Vince? Vintage, how you doing, brother? How you doing, brother? Thank you so much. I Bully Bullies for the 20 sec. I don't know what that is. Star Wars currency. Slap this DarkViperAU guy for me, won't you? No, of course not. I would never engage in that. Also, I don't think that this guy has friends, which is kind of a sad thing, brother. I don't think that he has friends, and that's not good. I heard that his mods are his best friends, and I don't know if I'm that seems sad, man. I don't know. You got to get a personal life outside that. That's a sad thing. But let's just get this video started. I'm yapping too much.
Dark Viper, aka Matt, is popular for
Oh, by the way, Willie Mack hat, obviously. Also, if you want some short form Papa Gut content, check the TikTok or the Papa Gut leftovers in the description. Let's go!
Content. Some are challenges, some are facts and glitches, some of it is speedrunning. But in the commentary community, he's mostly known for his hatred of React content, where he made a 14-page manifesto.
Comparing it to sexual assault, which I think a lot of people kind of turned a couple people off when you make that comparison. It's a little rough, brother.
Detailing why React content is immoral. He does what every political creator does, acting like the only way he can make his point is comparing it to the worst thing possible. In this case, grape. Saying if you meet a reactor at a party, I suggest covering your glass, or outright telling them you don't want them to F you, because they seem keen to take a person's silence as consent. With
oh my god, there's a horse.
Law, she compares CP to owning a computer. With Viper, it's grape if you react to a YouTube video.
I bet if you're really terminally online, all these make a lot of sense. So think of it like that.
He even clarifies, it's hyperbole, but only slightly so.
It's massive hyperbole. It's a little extreme there, brother.
The difference between actively ignoring consent for financial gain is not so far removed from ignoring consent for sexual gratification. So today we're going to be discussing...
I don't ignore consent for sexual gratification. I just do it to demean the other person. I'm just kidding. That's terrible. That's horrible.
Viper's grape, also known as the time someone reacted to his content. Some of it he's right, some of it I disagree with. All of it's over the top.
It's 14 pages!
Damn. I don't know, man. Listen, here's the thing, too. It's like the messenger and the message. There are just some people who I don't think people are ever going to be receptive to their message because they're just whiny as fuck. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down. I don't know.
14 pages! 14 pages! He's using it.
Yeah, Dark Viper he made a video talking about how Ethan was bullying him because he keeps using that clip. It's just so sensitive. It's just a meme. But he's talking about how he's been harassed and bullied for however long because of that clip. It's come on, dude. You really? Harassment and bullying? Okay.
A soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire life.
Traumatic, dude. It was traumatizing to me.
It's
Traumatizing. Come on. This is the Katie Bugs of React content. Let's be absolutely fucking real here. Traumatizing? It might be embarrassing. Listen, I've had my embarrassing moments on YouTube and TikTok and everything, you know? Have you ever loved before? But it traumatizing? Come on. That's a little crazy. Just take your L.
14 pages! I have never been this mad at a person in the entirety of my life! Was the worst period in the entirety of my life.
That was the worst of your entire life, dude. That's really good. I feel like that's a good thing. That's the worst you've ever experienced is 14 pages? I don't know, man.
He has made...
I don't know if he knows this. Some people have actually been sexually assaulted. That's usually not a great time in people's lives. Not a very good one.
my life worse. Miserably so. That I can't have a day to myself. I don't deserve sh**. I will get back to f***ing editing!
Oh my god.
I want to start off by laying out Matt's take on React content, with the focus being on streamers, complaining that they are taking other people's work that took hours and hours to make, and
true.
then flipping it. So now they have a product that's equal in quality, but it took them only the amount of time.
It's definitely not equal in quality. Like, let's be honest. Nobody thinks that my React to video, Willie Max video is equal in quality. I just think it's just different. I think that's, I honestly think that a big reason why people like to watch streamers nowadays is that we live in a much more antisocial society. And I think that this kind of fills a little bit of a hole. You know, that's why there's a lot of like micro influencers who are doing pretty well. Like I do pretty well. There's a lot of other people who do pretty well because you want to hear something from somebody that you can relate to, that maybe isn't like huge, that can still interact with you in some capacity, on a more, I guess, intimate level, or, you know, we could talk in the chat. I'll see what you have to say. I'll respond to it, or I'll fucking ignore you, bitch. No. I think that's why I think that's part of what people like that. I just think that's kind of the direction that people are going into. So,
to react to it on stream, showing a diagram how a React streamer could steal up to 1,500 hours worth of labor.
Based. Also, again, I think that there's a difference between just watching a video on your stream and not doing anything with it versus trying to give it like meaningful commentary. You know, and meaningful means different things to different people. You could think my commentary sucks balls, and you're probably right, but it is transformative. Okay. It is transformative, just like that girl was transformative that I met a while ago, but I didn't really mind as long as I closed my eyes.
In a single hour of streaming. I think Hassan's a prime example of this, using videos to entertain his stream while he leaves to do something else.
That's like the worst of it. There's no, you can't, it doesn't matter if you're going to make the segment or make it a segment on YouTube or not. You should never be interacting with a video that you have no intention of actually reacting to. There's a rare occasion where I'll watch something on my stream and I won't talk for a couple of minutes and I'll be like, yeah, let's just turn this off because I'm not doing anything. Those I think are inappropriate. But if you have like something meaningful to say, that works out. And there seems to be a lot of creators enjoy it. Like Willie Mac, he comes in here every once in a while, says what's up. I like him. I bought his hat. Vince Vintage was just in here. He gave me a little bit of a smooch. That was cool. I don't know if I have any other friends. But my point, but you understand my point. Oh, fuck my balls. Okay, I made it. Thank you so much for the another 20 sec again. I bully bullies. So sensitive. You made a video response to my tweets. Really? To your tweets? You made a video response?
Hold on, I gotta pee. I'm sorry.
National correspondent.
Or Denim
Editor, edit in me actually sitting there while I go to the bathroom.
streaming full episodes of Avatar while touting on Twitter how streaming is the hardest job she's ever had.
Guys, it's super hard. Did they really?
Streaming full episodes of Avatar while touting.
As someone who has worked 12-hour shifts with a 4-hour commute while going to uni full time, streaming is easily the hardest job I've had. The post-stream social exhaustion is so real. I don't know how anyone can do it. I hate when people say this stuff. Like, yeah, sometimes streaming can be, it can burn you out socially, but worse than a 12-hour job? Never. Especially since if you're successful enough, if you have a solid content strategy, you could just not work. I think I just didn't work like 2 or 3 days this week because I just didn't feel like it. You can't do that. That's amazing for me. Good for me. Fuck all you. You know, I used to not be able to do that. I used to have to actually go to work and clean up piss and shit and fucking vomit. All right, it wasn't even that bad, to be honest with you. But it was certainly worse than this. Okay? So it's like so annoying when people complain. You don't need to stream fucking 5 or 10 hours a day. You can, you just have to come up with a solid. Look at Queso. He streamed like 4 or 5 hours a day. Like, you don't have to stream that long anymore. It's not something you have to do. The best content strategy is coming on for a limited, smaller, entertaining stream. You can come on and stream for 2 to 4 hours every single day and then get off and spend like maybe an hour editing, which is like what I do. It's not hard editing. It's just time consuming. I get like clips and I do like editing for clips and TikToks and stuff and this too. That's all you like. That's what you need to do. And it's more about that now. And then when somebody tunes into your stream, like let's say you're consistent, you're like, I stream 12 to 3 every day, whatever. Or you come home after work and you're like, I stream 7 to 9 every day. And you have an entertaining stream and you do like clips and TikToks and stuff. People, when they tune in, they'll actually have something fun to watch instead of some dog shit asshole sitting there with an unentertaining stream, like getting upset because there's nothing really going on. Like Hassan, half the time you're going to go in there, he's fucking around, he's sitting around. Nobody wants to watch that. Okay, but if you come in and it's like, oh, the stream's only 3 hours, you'll have plenty of stuff. Your stream will be entertaining. Okay, hey, look at that. Look at that. Vince Vintage again. He's in here still, dude. What's going on, brother? Are you? That's the way of the future, man. You really need to be taking advantage of TikTok, or else you're kind of screwing yourself over. And even if it does get banned, like there's going to be alternatives, like YouTube Shorts does exist and stuff like that. You really that's the way to go. That's the way to get your brand awareness out there. Especially now that TikTok will pay you for videos over a minute. You know, you could double dip. You could put those same videos on YouTube. You know, you can look like Ray William Johnson does that, where you can make your own content that's like explicitly for YouTube or TikTok. There's just so many different ways to go.
On Twitter how streaming is the hardest job she's ever had. The argument isn't that some reactors are bad, it's that they're all bad. He argues that React streamers are stealing the labor of content creators and
fuck content creators, dude. You're all gay.
Using their own work to outcompete them for finite impressions. Now, objectively, yes, it's competing for eyeballs just like any piece of content
that's very true.
Is online, but the only compelling part to me is that it's now potentially competing with the original work. In my personal experience, because that's all we can go off of, when people react to my content, I usually get no jump in viewership. Over the dozens of times my videos have been reacted to, I've only had 2 major boosts. One was from Destiny and the other one was from Charlie. And I think it's
Charlie Kaplan?
Because those content creators were somewhat invested in those dramas at the time. So
I also think that they're larger content creators, so they have a lot more eyes like looking at it.
Their viewers were more willing to take the time to come comment on the original. Now, how many times have I noticeably lost viewership? Never. There's never been an obvious dip in viewership after somebody's reacted to the video, even when the reaction has many times the views. But other creators have documented this happening. Internet Anarchist showing there was an 87% dip in impression.
The problem I have with I know the Internet Anarchist one, because they had this conversation with XQC. There's a couple issues I have with it. One is that it's fucking XQC. XQC doesn't do transformative reactions. He's not sitting here and trying to give you meaningful commentary that actually will do something productive to his content. That's number one. Number two is that this isn't compared to anything else. It's just here's my video. I told XQC to react to it. The next day he did, and look, I'm not getting as many views today as I did yesterday. You'd have to do more than just one video. I need to see like what's the typical drop off. Maybe all of his other videos are like that. I don't really know. It's not like enough. It could be possible, but again, I would different. XQC is not. I don't even dislike the XQC. He's just not a transformative content creator. He just kind of watches stuff and fumbles his mouth around while he talks about stuff. I don't think that's the same thing. So it's a little bit of like it's a little difficult for that one.
As well as a 52% decrease in views on the day of the re-upload. Mad Seasons documented something similar.
Then we notice a little spike here on May 12th, because this is when everyone's favorite corporal decided he wanted to watch some real content.
Hell yeah, baby. Vince Vintage says it's impossible to get data on whether a reaction has hurt or benefited a YouTuber. Yeah, that's true. You know, if there was like objective evidence that it had a negative impact, I think the best, in my opinion, here's the way I look at it, is that it has maybe a slightly positive or neutral impact. Like if I engage with a Vince Vintage video, most likely nobody who watches it through me is going to go watch Vince's video again, but they might be more likely to go and watch Vince's video in the future. I also have a small audience, because you guys, so I don't know how impactful it'll be, but that's kind of the way that I look at it. But I think that the audience is usually different enough that it's not going to have a net loss impact. For as many people who are going to come in and not watch Vince's video because I watched it, I think are the same number of people that might watch my video, go, this guy's fucking dog shit, I'm going to go watch Vince's video instead. So I think if anything, it has like a slightly, I would say that it has like a slightly positive impact, or maybe like a neutral impact. I don't think that it's necessarily I don't think it's necessarily a negative impact. What the fuck? How did I die, dude? Now I'm having a negative impact. I'm fucking pissed. What sucks is when a reaction video gets double the views of the original video. Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I can see why that'd be pissed off. But honestly, when a big streamer reacts to your video and gasses you up, it feels good. Yeah, I mean, part of it's just getting yourself into the public atmosphere. There's so many different. It's like brand awareness. There's so many different ways that you'll engage in brand awareness. Obviously, like you have your short form content, like your TikToks and whatnot. You have just the existence of your content, and you have other people shouting you out in some capacity. That would be brand awareness, obviously. And somebody watching you is a form of that happening. Again, as long as they're providing a transformative reaction. Dude, I'm not a noob. This is the hardest difficulty. Leave me alone. Okay. Yeah, what a terrible reaction video is when there's nothing of value being added. Exactly. You know, if you're not really doing anything with the video, it's not productive, you know. And I always appreciate having the conversational. That's why I like to call it like conversational reactions. I like to talk a lot. I like to have a conversation in the reaction. Thank you so much for the 12-month small gut from Apocalypse. Often I watch other videos by creators you watch. Exactly. I'm the best. Vince says like a 30-minute original video and the streamer's reaction is 31 minutes. Yeah, that's absolute dog shit. Like there's no reason that should exist. They're just doing it. They're not adding anything. They're not adding anything to the video. They're not adding anything to the video at that point. It's just watching it to try to make, you know, money off of it. And obviously we all want money, but you know, there's got to be at least some code of ethics going on.
And he reacted to it. So you'll see a bump in viewership here because he's consistent about giving credit and linked the video to his stream after watching it. But even visually here, you'll notice an immediate decline. We have a pretty significant decrease in viewership, presumably due to the fact that from this date, there are now 2 major copies of this video sharing the algorithm.
But he had
I'll say, like, when I watch, I don't know if that's in line with his normal videos that don't get reacted to. When I come across Asmongold videos, I'll watch them for a little bit, and then I'll usually just go watch the original on the limited time that I watch stuff with off stream. Because I'm not always, like, I don't dislike Asmongold, but I'm not always like, oh my god, I can't wait for the newest Asmongold video, you know? It's more of like yeah, I kind of don't really care for the commentary. Let me go see what he said, because I watch Mad Season. Usually I watch his videos offline, not online. Thank you so much for the 15-month small medium gut from Latchkey Goth Boy. Hold on, Papa Gut. Hope you're having an awesome Wednesday. Willy Wednesday. Yes, I'm having a nice Willy Wednesday. I might goon a little bit with my Willy after this too.
hammers home that react content is actually the worst for people who aren't reacted to at all. He compares it to pollution.
I went into such intricate detail to explain that everyone suffers from react content, but those who are reacted to suffer the least. We could use pollution as an example. You've got the
what he's saying is that there are so many eyes on your content, right? Money is finite, viewership is finite. There's only so many people watching YouTube. If people watch a video, somebody's original video, and the video that's being reacted to, that takes away time that could be watched for a smaller creator that might want to bump. The problem I have with that is I don't care about that at all. If I'm more entertaining reacting to and giving meaningful commentary to someone else's video, if that's more entertaining to people than watching someone else's like actual like whatever fresh new video, then that's just the way it is. I mean, it's like a podcaster kind of a thing. That just sucks for you. That's it. I don't care. I don't really care. Just because there's other content creators who put work into their content doesn't mean that it's even good. And I don't mean to be an asshole, but there's going to be people who prefer listening to a big fat piece of shit give commentary that they find interesting over a video than somebody else's fresh video who doesn't really, maybe they suck. And I'm not trying to be rude or mean, but like, you know, growth is different now. Organic growth isn't really the way that it used to be. If you put out a video and it's not doing well, you have to take advantage of the short, medium form content as well to get your shit out there. So it just is what it is. It's unfortunate. And no one's going to get an instant bump. I mean, if you're somebody who's making video essays and you put like really good quality out there, you're not going to hit to like, if you're lucky, like the 6th video. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because if you hit, like, let's say you put out 5 videos and they do like, they do okay, and your number 6 hits really hard, and you do like video essays or something, people that really like that content are going to go back and watch the first 5. That's how it works. And it's not like linear. Like content creation there's no linear trajectory. If you want a consistent job, go get a real fucking job. You know, this is kind of like this is one of the negatives of the atmosphere. And again, easier than any other job. Okay, easier than any other job, but like that's one of the parts of the atmosphere is that there's ups and downs, and there's a lot of different moving parts, and there's no education on how to like hit properly, and there's like so many different things. Thank you so much for the $10, Vince Vintage. I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate a kiss. Okay, I think
The people at the top, the polluters, who make tons of money polluting the planet. Then you have the people who work for them who make some of that money as well. Then you have literally everyone else who's like...
literally, get it? Because you're littering?
Can you guys like stop polluting the planet? Like, we don't work for you, but we do suffer because of what you're doing.
This is just gay, sorry.
And the second tier is like, why the f are you complaining, man? I'm getting a great paycheck here. The people at the top like, look, all these fucking people. They don't even work for us. They don't work for us. They're not our responsibility. Every class except the top.
He's trying the best to appeal to like everybody. People who've been sexually assaulted, people who care about the climate. Well, who gives a fuck about that, dude? That's cringe as hell. No matter how big the shout out is, if the content sucks, no one will stick around. Yeah, exactly. This is from Vince. I'm reading like pretty much everything Vince Vintage has in the chat. That's why you see those small channels, Mr. Beast shout out 2 years ago, not even pulling 10K. Yeah, it's the reality too. It's like not everybody is gonna be entertaining or interesting. You know, it is what it is. You know?
Worse off. The people in the second class who get some benefit are less worse off, but everyone else is the worst off.
All React content makes you a bad person. Not that it's necessarily illegal.
You are taking that guy's 500 hours of labor in order to take all these impressions and therefore viewers from every other content creator. If you were to disappear, everyone would be better off. However,
I gotta disagree with that. I mean, again, there is an audience that likes this type of content. That's one of the things I think people don't keep in mind. There are people who like reactions. I'm gonna die again. Jesus Christ! I fucking play like shit when I'm reacting to videos. There are people who like this type of content. This is the content they like, and if it didn't exist, whether you like it or not, they would not be here. So you can make a solid argument that like content like me, I'm not like an amazing person, but a content like mine brings other people here. If you're here, like there are people who enjoy me a lot. Not a lot of them, but there are enough of them. They're like a good amount. Like when I'm not on, they're going to watch someone else. It might be another reactor. It might be one of the people I react to that they liked, that I engaged with. Like, oh, I liked this person that he reacted to. Maybe I'll start watching. You know, there's all here. And another thing, too, that I want to bring up is that if you do a reaction where you edit the video a lot, no one's going to go watch the original either. Like, if somebody decided to react to Willie Mac's video, just to be clear, and did a more meaningful response or reaction, but they cut it up, I don't think everybody's going to go rush to watch the Willie Mac video if you watch somebody's breakdown of that video, even if they edited it out. I mean, I think that the traditional like example is, and because I usually exist in a more controversial kind of sphere, so it's like, you know, you'll watch like Abba and Preach and Fresh and Fit go at it, right? If I watch Abba and Preach's video about Fresh and Fit, I'm not going to go watch fucking Fresh and Fit. Rarely I will. I will sometimes, but most of the time I don't give a fuck about what that person has to say. Most people will engage in the exact same way. I doubt that like most of the people watching an Abba and Preach video that breaks down a situation for Fresh and Fit are going to like rush over there and watch it. Like, oh my God, I gotta go. It's still taking up your, like, you're not going to go back. Like a lot of people aren't going to watch the source material, whether you edit it up or edit it down or not. I would just say make a fucking React channel. Like if you're somebody who does like really solid, like Vince Vintage quality content, and you know, make a React channel. Have fun. Do a little reacting. React to a fucking TikTok every day. Have a little bit of fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fun. Everybody can do it. Why not have like a little bit of fun? Go react. And maybe you don't want to do that. You know, you might want to be like, nah, that's not my thing. I like to do much more edited. I like to sit down and think about something. Because like, I don't do that. You know, when I watch a TikTok, I'm just rambling. You might like sitting down and like really thinking and be like, okay, I want this to be like very impactful. That's fine. But I'm just saying, do that too. It's fun. It's low stress. It's low effort. Make that part of your content cycle. Why not? Just do that. Just do it. It's fun. Like, you know what I mean? It's part of the atmosphere. I think it's a healthy part of the atmosphere too. I think it's an enjoyable, healthy part of the atmosphere. It's a fun thing to do. It's fun to have like conversations and talk and get your ideas out there and express them and get feedback from people that you're talking to. It's an enjoyable experience. Maybe you should consider doing it. Come to the dark side. You know what I mean?
All original content creators have just as much right to be in this space as anyone else.
Yeah, they need to be in the space or else I don't make money, dude. I need to steal your content. Blah, blah, blah.
Reactors don't.
Chill the fuck out. It's not that serious.
Writing what is legal is not necessarily good by any standard. Just because slavery was once legal didn't make it good, and certainly
okay.
Even if this
damn, he's going for slavery too? Oh my God, I forgot about that one.
Labor exploitation was legal, it wouldn't make it any less exploitative. If you're a React streamer, you're a rapist and a slave owner, apparently. Could we pick?
How did you know?
More extreme examples is this Vosh's younger brother. The reason why he wants to discuss the morality of React content is
what about the morality of wearing the same outfit every day? Come on, bro.
because we don't know the legality of it. I get it, we don't have a legal precedent set, and everyone's barometer for what they count as fair use is going to be a little bit different, which is why he says, who cares about fair use?
For example, I clarified my position on fair use, which can be summarized as, who the f cares?
Even lawyers aren't positive when it comes to what counts and what doesn't when it comes to fair use. Some say most of it likely counts as fair use. Others say live stream React content might be impossible to be considered fair use.
If you react to anything and you're adding enough commentary to the fact that it's not a replacement of the original, then then it's fair use, I think.
No, 100%. But if all he did was facial expressions and he did not commentary at all he did, that would actually be transformative.
Yes, leaving to take a break will almost certainly violate copyright due to the lack of commentary, but arguably so does just watching it in real time if there's no commentary being made.
That's why you have to always talk and say something.
And this highlights why it might actually be impossible for any live streamer to have a live stream reaction where they're just simply playing the entire video and reacting.
At the end of the day, the legal argument.
I mean, at the end of the day, if there was a precedent set that you couldn't do that, I'd probably still react to full videos, and then I would have an editor just edit it down to be more meaningful. You know what I mean? But, you know, I guess we'll see. I mean, it's possible. If you have that big of like a problem with the type of content, you know, and maybe Dark Viper is the one doing it, I guess sue. You know, sue Chud Logic, although I think I saw Chud Logic talk about it. He said he's not going to bother taking the case, which I wouldn't either. Like, it's not worth the amount of time, energy, and effort, even if you do win. It's just like a whole lot of fucking stress. I'm going to die again and corner myself. It's just a whole lot of stress for like absolutely nothing. But like, yeah, sue somebody for it, man. Like, put in the lawsuit, sue, and maybe you'll win, and then there'll be like a new precedent set, and then we'll see where it goes from there. You know, I wouldn't be against people being able to upload their videos and indicate whether or not they wanted something to be reacted to or not. And to be honest with you, I think that if that did create that, and there were content creators like, yeah, I would allow my content to be reacted to, I would argue that they're probably going to be more overall, have a more popular. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I feel like that would probably be more popular because, again, it's that brand awareness. It's not just about the views. Sometimes, a lot of times, it's just about putting yourself out there and like engaging yourself in different audiences consistently. That's also part of it, you know? So, yeah.
Argument just isn't that productive to debate because there is no black and white line for where fair use starts and ends. It's up to courts to figure that out. Now, the online community has largely already come to an agreement on what they think is and isn't acceptable when it comes to React content. And that's if you're getting up and leaving or adding minimal commentary that might as well not be there.
Oh, it looks like a cartoon.
Sniper Wolf.
To be honest with you, like with Sniper Wolf shit, I don't really care. My issue is that she doesn't credit people. Because I've had a couple of viral Instagram videos, well, one in particular go viral, and a couple of people have like reacted to it. Like that Dax guy reacted to it, which I think is cool. They don't say a whole lot when they play it, but they put my name on the screen. I think that's enough because it's fun. It's like brand awareness. You know, it's like that really edgy clip I made on Instagram. I should probably get back to doing that. I forgot what the fuck his name is. It's like Daz Games. Yeah, it's the Daz Games guy. But I think it's cool. Sometimes it's just cool, you know? Let me see if I can find it.
Reactions are not valued by the community and she faces backlash for it. What is valued is if a creator is being critical or analyzing a video, significantly adding to the
That's Chud Logic, dude.
runtime.
How
In 480p-ness.
as a React content creator?
Here it is.
Expecting it. That's okay.
Go on.
There we go.
Did you know that color disappears the deeper that you go underwater?
That's probably why black people don't like to swim.
You lot, honest. Oh my fucking god.
This is funny to me.
My mother's black, right? My mum is.
See, I like this. It's just fun, right? And he's got my name up here. The official Papa Guy. That's my Instagram. Now, I haven't seen a significant bump for this, but you want to know why? It's one fucking video. That's it. It's one video. And like, I understand that he has like a 21-minute video, but he credits me in here and it's fun. It's funny. You know, I don't know. I think that there's something cool about people like acknowledging you, especially in a positive light. And I think that that's probably part of the reason why Dark Viper gets upset, because people they don't look at him in a positive light. I don't think that there's a whole lot of people that are like, oh my god, I'm like a huge Dark Viper AU fan. I I don't think that there's a lot of like, I don't know. I could be wrong, but he doesn't seem to have any friends within the community, outside the community. He doesn't seem to have particularly positive relationships with anybody in any community. He just seems to be kind of like a loner that's upset. Like he's rich and alone. He's like a Scrooge McDuck, you know? And I think that's a sad thing, brother. You know, that's a sad world. And maybe he needs a friend. And you know what? I cannot be that friend because you just seem like annoying as fuck, man. You know, Dark Viper's a goat. Okay, there you go. You should go be his friend. Go be a mod for him. Those are like his best friends. You know, I think that, but I think maybe he lacks personal relationships. Maybe you need to get like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a non-binary friend, you know, or something. I don't know. Something going on, man. Fall in love. Love's a beautiful thing. It's an incredible thing. Go for it.
Do you avoid taking the piss? Well, I think that so long as you're clearly trying...
Bro, when I gotta take a piss, I just pause the video.
It's fine. You don't have to knock it out of the park every time, so long as there's clearly a respect and understanding there that you are working with someone else's content,
yeah,
I think you're good.
Viper, on the other hand, thinks they can never add enough. It's all bad all the time.
All reactors do is sit and steal from the original...
All reactors do is they have meltdowns and then they kill people. Because they're... it was a joke.
Content
about nuclear reactor. It was a bad joke. It was I didn't need to explain it.
They siphon exposure via impressions to themselves, keep people on their channels instead of other people's, and they flick a few every once in a while to someone else. Except in the premise that React content shouldn't exist, everything React content takes is taken from these people.
Okay.
Whoever they...
Thank you so much for the $10 Shaggy Jizz. Wait, Shaggy Izzy. Sorry. Hey, Papa Cut, have a snack on me today. Cheers. Thank you for the $10, brother. I appreciate that. Vince Vintage. I talked to him a few times, honestly. He's a super cool dude. Personally, I think getting into drama like this is like a cycle. Give him a bit and they'll take a mile. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Vince is his friend. Now we like Dark Viper. That's all it takes. What do you mean give him a mile? Are you talking about like when it comes to like responses? I agree with that. Like, you know, if you get into a little bit of controversy and you keep pushing, like, you're just going to keep getting criticized. It's kind of the nature of the beast. I mean, I've been there. On my old TikTok days when I was popular. Did you guys know I used to be popular on TikTok?
They are. Wherever they are. They're just logically true.
When it comes to React content being the worst because it's stealing impressions from completely unrelated creators, I don't care. I value the authentic
yeah, I agree.
entertainment of a first-time viewing React video more than the 5,000th Minecraft Let's Play video that's been uploaded this month.
And I also think it really depends on what you're doing. Like, I really think that there are two different types of like React content. There's entertainment React and then there's conversational React. When it comes to conversational React, if you make a video and you're like, here's my position on this thing, whether it's a political statement or a social statement or whatever you're doing, that you're inviting the conversation. If you're making like a video, like a Vince Vintage video where you're doing something that's like about like of an event that's going on, I feel like that's a little different. It's probably not as acceptable, you know, unless you have a lot to say about the video, but there's going to generally be less to say. And that's really what it boils down to. You know, if you're somebody that's just making crazy faces, sometimes pausing and going, what do you think about this? You're probably not a very good reactor. You're probably not a very good... But if you're doing something where you're really being meaningful about it, I think that that's reasonable. Yeah, if you respond to any bit of controversy, it just signs up for a new cycle. Yeah, that's true too. I think that's the problem. You know, to be more charitable and less mean. I think that like I saw a video of Dark Viper talking about how he really did not have like a lot of friends. And I don't say that to try to like be mean to the guy, but that one of the things that you really need to do as any person really, but as a content creator, is you need well, as any person, like you need to have somebody that you can confide in. And if you don't have that, then you're going to be miserable. And it really helps when that person is somebody that's like not an online creator, at least in my experience. Because I also do controversial content. So like other commentary people, it can be weird to be friendly with other commentary people sometimes, especially if you just try to criticize everybody. You know, that's why I actually like Brittany Simon, because I made like a criticism of her the other day, and like we're still friendly. We talked about it a little bit too in private because like she was taken out of context in a video. which I hadn't realized at the time. But it can be very difficult, so I stay away for the most part from being friends with like other commentary people intentionally. Like, it's just, you know, I think it's a solid boundary to have. But in a lot of instances, and I know you're about to cringe, but my wife has been very good for me. She grounds me in real life. Sometimes things seem like they're a big deal when they're not. And when you are engaging with a lot of other online people, am I gonna lose because I didn't get back in time? My mother's a fucking whore. Sorry, no, she's not. I love my mother. When you're friends with other commentary people, sometimes everybody thinks everything is a big deal. But like people in the real world will be like, "Oh, this is not a big deal," and that's been very helpful for me, keeping me grounded. There's times like, especially historically, when like, "Oh, I want to respond to something," I was just like, "Don't," and if you want to, give it like a day, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Yeah, you know what? This is just not worth responding to." You could use a lot of that stuff. Thank you so much for the $2 from Dummy Durs. Hey, Queso, great stream, keep it up. Thanks, brother. It's good to have support network of terminally online people who get you, give it to you real when you're in drama. Terminally offline people you need. It's good to have a network of terminally offline people. That's what I say.
Maybe it's just because I'm a drama YouTuber, but I think the internet's at its best when people are easily able to interact and give their opinion without having to worry about copyright. It's called social media for a reason. Of course, there are some nuanced differences from what creators want reactors to do. Some don't want them to reuse the thumbnails. Others want them to wait 4 days before reacting.
What I realized is that if you're a big creator who's going to react to someone's video, you should wait at least 4 days for it to be pushed in the algorithm naturally.
For the thumbnail thing, I usually, like, it depends on what I'm engaging with. You know, it's like a 50-50 shot. It depends on how lazy I am. Usually on Willie Mac videos, I'm not gonna lie, I'll just take I'll just take his thumbnail and then I'll just cut a third of it out and I'll put my face there instead. Like, I don't even do like the one where they put your face over. I just do like this. Like if I found, like, here we go, this was this video about Nerd City. I just like burp, burp, you know. Sometimes I'll do it like this, where I'll kind of cut it into threes. You know, I have this like Tom Dark video I reacted to where I cut it into that. When it comes to the reacting, I guess that makes sense. I don't know about 4 days. That makes sense though. If like, hey, let me get through my initial burst. For me, I'll usually react when something comes out, but I'll usually wait like a day to put it out. That's pretty typical for me. I'll wait till the next day to put it out. I'm not saying that I do that because for the other content creator, I usually just do that because that's the habit I have. Because on Twitch, you used to have to wait 24 hours from having a video that you made on Twitch, or there's like a rule of like, you have to wait 24 hours to take something that you made on Twitch and put it on your YouTube. So I've been just kind of maintaining that. And then hearing this, because I've heard this general criticism, I'm like, oh, I'll just keep doing that because it actually does, you know, that sounds like reasonable too. So it's like part of the motivation. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like all the motivation, but like that's understandable and fair.
And that's what Asmon and I talked about and agreed on after this happened. In this way, it creates buildup for his audience. They'll ask him to watch the video and they just have to wait patiently. So when he finally does, his audience is going to be excited. It means that my video will do better in turn, and so will his.
And I think that that's reasonable, by the way, for him to even say that. Like if Willie Mac came to me and said like, hey, your reactions are cool, but like, could you wait 3 days to post it? I'd be like, oh, okay. I would just do that. Like, it doesn't even matter. Nothing else matters. Him asking me to do that would literally just make me do that. I'll be like, oh, okay. And I'll just start waiting 3 days. I don't think it's unreasonable to set that. That's a very reasonable boundary. So if he said like, hey, can you wait 4 days? Yeah, okay, cool. Like, I don't think that that's unreasonable. Hey, wait until my video says 4 days on it before you start posting. Okay, cool. No problem with that, brother. That's a reasonable boundary. It's a respectful boundary. Like, I think that's fine.
You can see the difference in views on these two videos despite them being on the same game.
But as of right now, creators and viewers value the free speech and opinions that come with good reaction content more than they value potentially losing that extra dollar. Actman expressed that sentiment, and Viper started a whole conspiracy because of it.
As someone who takes passion in what I do, I enjoy watching those reactions. They always do really well.
Damn, he watches them too? That's an RN right there. That's a registered nurse, brother. That's a registered nurse.
On his channel, and some might say, but Actman, he's stealing views from you. Those views belong to you. Maybe they do. I can't say for certain, but what I can say is a lot of people who are subscribed to my channel wouldn't be subscribed if Asmongold never made these videos.
I sent
That's fair.
him a message. He hasn't responded, but even if he does respond, I'm not going to tell you what he says because I'm more asking him out of curiosity. I have seen the negative response from viewers when others have called out Asmongold, who previously associated.
Wait, is this something that he said to fuck, what's his name? The guy that was just on there. I know who he is. Like, he's a good content creator. Fucking forgot his name. What the fuck is his name? Is this a message that he sent to the guy?
Them in the past. I ask you honestly, do you really see Asmon as better than the others you criticized, or did you worry about how it would reflect on you to speak negatively of him? And they act more to defend reactors than they do anything else. It doesn't matter the formulation that reaction content takes, at least in the sort that I'm talking about. The live stream reaction and then just throwing it up on YouTube.
To most other people, the form it takes...
Was that a message he sent to the Act Man? I just feel like it's kind of weird to talk about that publicly. It kind of like puts him on the spot.
Matters. That's the consensus. This world where he wants every creator to strike every reaction video, people don't want it. Viewers don't want it. Creators don't want it.
So what's the solution? Ultimately, enough content creators banding together and saying, hey, we do not like reaction content. Cutting off the supply. The viewers will never cut off demand, but creators can cut off a supply.
I mean, I feel like, shouldn't that at least be considered? That you acknowledge that there are viewers who would not like that. There are viewers that for whatever reason want to listen to people talk about things and give their commentary. And I don't think it's like weird, by the way. I think it's like very normal. Like it makes sense. I think there are people, especially there's some people that just resonate with people. Everybody wants their person that like, oh yeah, I like this opinion. Or maybe there's something that I say that's different or intriguing or whatever, stimulating. I don't know. Maybe you just like that I'm fucking, I don't know, funny. I'm a comedian, by the way, opening up my own club in California. Why isn't that a factor though? Especially since again, like that could potentially bring people to the platform in general. You know, like the reactor, whether you like them or not, could be keeping content creators on YouTube instead of watching like a podcast or something else. And like, yeah, oh, you're taking away from them. Who gives a fuck, dude? It's potentially putting more onto you. You know? And
unfortunately,
like I've reacted to people's content before, and then I've gotten suggestions of the person that they reacted to. Right? Hey, Wings, can you play Call of Duty? What is this? Thank you so much, Sicilian Gamer, for the $2. Yeah, I'll play Call of Duty. Don't worry. Let me play Call of Duty and then make inappropriate comments to 12-year-olds and then kill a cat in a bucket. How about that? Does that sound good, brother?
All of these videos do is say, hey, reaction content's fine as long as you like the reactor.
Since
yes, exactly.
Nothing really is legally keeping people in line, it's up to the community to self-police for what is and isn't okay. Viper understands this.
It's legal-ish.
Come on, dude. Die!
Yeah. Like, they could claim him, they could strike him, but it's legal-ish until it's tested in court. For now.
At the end of the day, even when things are legal, what you want is like social sanctions. Like if you watch Ludwig's video talking about the gambling thing, he said, I don't know if I would take a gambling sponsorship, but it's not because I think it's bad, but because I worry what people will think of me. My audience will be angry at me, potentially. And that kind of stuff is really powerful.
And this does happen. Once a year, XQC and Hassan get ritualistically blasted for leaving while the video is still playing.
But it's always fun to engage with those, you know. I like XQC for the one reason, okay? Well, one, I like him because he doesn't give a fuck about anything, which I think is kind of cool, but I appreciate it at least. I think it's kind of cool. That sounds nerdy as fuck that I said that. But I appreciate that. But another thing is that, like, he takes the heat for Papa Gut, right? Think about it. Like, you got XQC. Comparatively, I look amazing. But if XQC didn't exist anymore, I would be more on the line of, like, oh, this guy's a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? You got to think about it like that, too, brothers. You gotta think about like that too.
Deterring other streamers from doing it. The community has landed where as long as you're present and trying, especially if you're being critical, then you're okay. He tries to act like in 2016 we had different standards. We didn't.
Like back in the day with reaction content, people would be like, well, you're doing reaction content, you fucking scum. And they'd go, oh, well, I better not do reaction content.
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I feel like the reaction content back in the day was that black guy just looking at things going, whoa! Like, I think it was even worse than XQC. Right? Things are at least like a better now, I think. You know? I mean, that's my opinion. I could be wrong.
You know, it's legal.
Yes. But the person who people were complaining about was Jinx, who never added anything. Hassan is better. XQC is better. Something Viper and I agree on is that we don't want a lazy streamer to get sued by a big company and then set a bad precedent for what fair use is. Viper writes, the legal positions of platforms like YouTube and Twitch balance on a razor's edge. All it would take is one single significant challenge that could—
I wonder what the morality— I wonder if there's an aspect in play of what YouTube thinks about the content that's being made. Right. And here, follow me for a second here. I know it's going to be a little bit bizarre, but just follow me for a second. On TikTok, there's like a feature, and you'll probably all know it. It's like duet and stitching. So duetting basically takes the person's video and puts you next to it, and you could just sit there and you could literally take your dick out. Oh, they might censor that, but you could just jack off. You don't have to really say anything or do anything. You could just make stupid asshole faces. And the precedent has been set that that's okay. The app literally implements a feature that makes that accessible. And fundamentally, the app's saying that this content is okay. And so, you know, I wonder if the fact that YouTube hasn't taken the React content down is a legal argument to be made that's like, yeah, well, YouTube sets the precedent, sets the standard that this kind of content is acceptable to them. And could that not be a factor? I mean, it's their own platform. They have a level of control about what the content is allowed to be on a particular platform, what they do and don't like, you know, in different standards, you know, like I think Twitch, for example, has a pretty hard no against gambling, but you can shake your tits, but you just can't gamble. So if they had a hard stance towards gambling, like I feel like that's a factor. The statement is not true. YouTube's legal position is not in the balance. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I'm asking you. I don't know if I used a weird interpretation that you had. I'm saying I wonder if that would have a particular impact. Again, especially since TikTok has like features that say like, hey, we set the precedent that like this is an acceptable type of content on our platform. We encourage the social interaction. So I wonder if that would be considered in court, which you probably would be able to get a lawyer that would consider that in court. Because I think it's something to be considered of like what's the standard that like YouTube sets, like what do they want the atmosphere on their platform to be? Are they okay with these like transformative reactions? Do they think it's healthy for the community? I argue yes. I would, if I was going to court, I would actually bring that up at least as at least a small part of the content. You know,
could destroy this delicate balance and make all of our careers impossible. Citing XQC disguised toast in the sun, watching anime and cartoons. The problem is Viper.
Wow.
Is a complete spurg. He gets caught up in emotion and semantics rather than the topic, so it leads to some of the most unproductive dialogues.
Cause I am the baddest of them all. If you ain't about money, then I don't mess with y'all.
And that's really the extent of the argument Matt has made on his dozen or so videos on the topic. And every video is the exact same thing. It's Matt responding to other people's opinion with his opinion, but he presents his opinion as a fact.
It's yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the game, right? That's what I do every single time. We talk about the same shit. Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. I feel like every time he does that, he's just inviting more people to talk about it and criticize it. And I don't know. Here's my thing, and I think a lot of people have been there before. It kind of seems like that DarkViperAU feels like he's right, obviously. Not a very hot take. But I feel like part of him thinks that maybe he's just not communicating his message correctly. He's like, people just aren't getting it. They don't understand what I'm saying. And he just keeps kind of repeating himself over and over again because he thinks that like, no, you're not getting it. And like, let me say it again, just the way maybe you'll get it this time. I think people understand what he's saying. I don't think that people really care. That's kind of where we're at. I don't think that people really care. Content creators, viewers, etc., etc. I think that's really more of the issue.
Literally just him making semantic arguments. For example, Charlie's original video argues that React content is good exposure for small channels, and that Viper's solution of getting rid of React content won't help small channels.
So even right away,
I agree. It's one way of like having growth. It's exposure.
His initial tweet going for the most extreme approach possible. All reactors are bad people, exploit others to benefit no one but themselves, collectively stolen millions of dollars from actual creators, and have stopped countless thousands from having a career. I wonder how many small...
I just highly doubt that.
Channels are out there shaking their fist right now like, damn you, Pokimane, my channel died because you watched my video on your stream and said nice things about me. But I would like to give you a couple of examples of times where channels we've reacted to, very small channels, have been able to turn it into a full-time career, and it has really helped them grow.
Viper then responds saying he never argued on behalf of small creators.
And there's no guarantee that now that the React...
Yes, he did. He's always talking. He talked about that. So one of his big things that there's less views to go around for smaller creators.
Content's gone. Those eyeballs turn towards the small YouTubers. You can't prove that.
Right nowhere in this document do I use small creators anywhere. Anywhere.
There's no way for you to prove that if the React content wasn't...
That is the pretty heavy implication there, buddy.
There, all of those eyeballs that they are occupying of that finite pool of impressions would be redistributed to the smaller creators. You have no way of proving it. Nobody really does.
Then it is fantastic that not even for a single moment did I come anywhere close to arguing that point in all 14 pages that I wrote.
But
yes, he did. I don't know if he said it explicitly. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched. Like, I read through it. But like, yes, you did. If you're talking about less views being, available for other creators, which he literally says, then yes, you are.
He did. He says creators who are reacted to should strike down the reactors' channels, and they should do it for all those people who have had to quit the career they love due to a reactor's greed. In the same video where he says he didn't make the small channels argument, he makes the same argument.
You have collectively denied thousands of people careers. Because an algorithm has a better chance of serving people content that they want to watch long term than you do watching videos at random.
But people like watching reactions, so that's not even true. Some people enjoy that kind of content.
Whose careers are they denying if not small creators? This is semantics to frame Charlie as being dishonest when he's not. If Matt could name one big creator who's lost their career due to react content, that would give his argument a lot of backing, but he doesn't name them because that person doesn't exist. It's a made-up scenario. Hell of an argument you got there, Matt. Another YouTuber tries his best to cite some sources on why react content hasn't hurt his channel. Viper says his sources aren't good enough to draw those conclusions, and then he recites his own argument, which—
well, there's no sources. There's not enough sources to like make the point in general that it's like negative for somebody else's channel. You know, you can make make educated guesses, but
has zero sources.
So without any obvious sign of benefit, Nakrit decides that he just needs to invent benefits that while he can't show them to you, you should nevertheless just trust they exist.
That's the same with you. He's so unself-aware, he just screams 14 pages over and over again as if that proves his point.
14 pages! 14 pages, 14 pages, painstaking detail.
Viper said Ethan memeing him saying 14 pages has traumatized him.
That's fucking wild. Nothing's gonna lose you credibility faster than saying you got traumatized from Ethan from Ethan making a meme out of you. That's so stupid.
14 pages!
Because one of my favorite people on the internet, Dark Viper, 14 pages!
I don't think Ethan is a very good person, and he's using a soundbite of one of the most traumatic, angry moments of my entire life.
Traumatic, dude.
For many, many years on his stream, perhaps 100 times, is a bit more than excessive and very sick.
Why was this
sick? It's fucking sick, dude. It's disgusting. It's absolutely. I wonder what he thinks about in private, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder what he thinks about when he's by himself. Like, I feel like you got to get other things to occupy your brain, brother. You know, you got to get other things that you can think about that might just be a little bit more fuck my mother's asshole, a little bit more stimulating. Distracting even. I can't see what's going on the fucking screen because all the explosions and my eyes are bad because I'm old.
Traumatic for you. You're angry over nothing. Viper writes an essay where he name drops Charlie, argues that he's a harm to the entire creator space, and draws comparisons to Grape, so Charlie responds. You see, Charlie responding to this viral public document about him actually makes Matt the victim because Matt didn't make the video yet.
Of course, I will applaud Charlie. By coming out ahead of my video, he can undercut it so heavily that it will no longer be taken seriously.
Oh my god, why did he release the fucking document then?
The ideas within it will not be looked at with an open mind. Good job using your platform to crush down dissent against your empire of—
I really just feel like this guy just doesn't like criticism and he's a fucking crybaby about it. You know, I don't think that he actually cares about the React content as much as he cares about just fucking, I don't know, crying.
Unpaid labor.
If you didn't want him to respond, you shouldn't have tweeted the essay. He frames all these people as corrupt, but maybe they just disagree, man. That's why Actman's not responding to your long-ass essay.
And none of these people care enough at all. They just want some views.
He ended relationships with friends over this.
What?
At all. They just want some views.
He ended
relationships with friends? Oh my god. I do believe I know why DarkViperAU banned me. So I'll say it, and he can correct me if I'm wrong. At the end of February, I released a video which had a Starforge PC sponsor in it. Immediately after I released this video, DV, Dark Viper, banned me. Starforge is partly owned by Asmongold, who Dark Viper doesn't like because of reaction content. So Dark Viper banned me because I promoted Asmongold's company. I had very recently spoken with Dark Viper on the phone before this, and we were friends right up until the video. It certainly has nothing to do with drama DV's Reddit is regarding from up to 2 years ago. DV and I have even discussed this. What the fuck? Damn, man. What a truly sad existence to have, man. You know what I mean? What a truly sad existence to have. You're really gonna ruin a friendship because somebody took a sponsorship that, I guess, that does react content? That just seems crazy. What the fuck? That's wild. He's not even saying he likes Asmongold. That's not even like I like him. That's just saying, hey, I want to get the bag, baby. I want to get the bag. That's sad. I feel bad for this guy. He really just struggles. He really just seems to struggle having friends and stuff, man. It's just a sad thing. But I mean, if that's what you want to do, brother, if that's what you want to, if that makes you happy, I guess go for it. But
relationships with friends over this, draw critical reactions of him, and openly abuse the DMCA system. And he's always been this way, spazzing out and banning supporters for not being good at Among Us.
I apologize, I'm still a little new at the game.
What?
If you don't even know how to win the game, why are you playing?
What the fuck? Among Us? Is he part of the competitive Among Us circuit? Why are you getting so upset over a kid's game? I don't understand, man. I mean, listen, if you were doing like a mythic level raid on World of Warcraft, I get it. But what the fuck? Among Us? All jokes aside, you're playing with your fucking viewers. You got to expect them to be dumb as shit.
I do. I'm just sorry.
Claiming other speedrunners
what the fuck? Is that real?
Made his life worse simply because they were better than him.
He has made my life worse, measurably so.
And being depressed because a guy trolled a forum.
Why must my life suffer?
Damn, this guy is just a fucking starving artist, man. Damn. He's just sad about everything.
Why must I suffer so with no...
I was making a joke about it being a competitive Among Us match. I don't think that those exist. I mean, maybe they do, but I don't think that they do. What the fuck? Why is he... It just sounds like he gets upset about everything. That kind of hurts your credibility. He just gets worked up over everything, dude.
No one caring for so long.
This is a lot. I need a break. With Fume,
Oh,
cold
my
turkey
balls.
may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits.
Okay.
Not everything in a bad habit is wrong, so instead of drastic, uncomfortable change, why not remove the bad from your habit? When it comes to bad habits, sometimes the easiest thing to do is to replace them with a good habit. Fume is an innovative device.
Yeah. A lot. That's what happens when fat people will get the surgeries that will help them lose weight. They get a different addiction. You know, I forget what it's called. Transfer addiction. It's called. You know, guys, get a transfer addiction onto Zins. No, I'm just kidding. Do your thing, brothers. I'm just fucking around.
Device that does just that.
Oh,
No
my cum.
electronics,
My
no
cum.
vapor, no harmful chemicals. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a hobby you're free to enjoy. It makes replacing bad habits easy. Fume is just flavored air, and it's actually really well designed.
Is there any like fart flavored air? Something like that. I feel like maybe some people, I don't know who, would be a little bit more inclined to purchase that product. You know, maybe you can make somebody specifically your own farts.
There's this fun magnet that attaches to the body. Pull out one of the flavored cores, insert it into the
fun
fume,
magnet.
twist it to adjust the airflow, and... Ah, that's the good stuff. I like it because when I get bored at work, instead of getting up to grab another snack or another cup of coffee when I definitely don't need it, I could just fidget with the fume and still get that stimulant of flavor when needed. So
I'm at a point now where I can't drink caffeine after like 8 o'clock or I can't fall asleep. It's actually fucking crazy.
break your destructive habits, enjoy
I can't have like a cup of soda with dinner, you know, unless it's caffeine free. I'm getting fucking old.
Fume. Go to tryfume.com/WillyMac or scan the QR code and use
WillyMac.
code WillyMac to get 10% off when you order the Journey Pack today. Thank you, Fume, for sponsoring this video. Objection! This all started in
That's an Actman audio. Well, isn't that from that game? Whatever.
November of 2023 when Viper struck Chud Logic for reacting to his video. Now this is a big deal in the commentary space because a heavily critical reaction video getting struck down because the original content creator didn't like it is a threat to the nature of the commentary community where the entire point is to criticize and engage in online discussion.
Yeah, and when you're going to engage, when you're going to make videos that engage in that discussion, it's annoying when you fucking pull the video down. But I guess if that's what you want to do. You know, I guess that's what he wants to do. He wants to sue and say, I don't want to, like, yeah, go for it. I mean, this is the thing. Here's one of the problems, and you know, is that if you're going to criticize people who criticize you, or let me not say it like that. If you're going to strike down people who criticize you, what's going to happen whether you like it or not? People are just going to stop engaging with the content as much, and you're going to get fewer views. Like I genuinely feel, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but like you not letting people react to your content, it's just going to make people not want to engage as much with your content. You're just going to be screaming at your own audience instead of other people's audiences. Wouldn't it make sense to let somebody like Chud Logic react? Maybe you'll make a really compelling argument and you'll pull over some of his audience. You could destroy his audience from the inside. It makes sense, you know? Makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to leave it up, you know, because, you know, maybe 1% of his audience doesn't like it. And they're like, you know what, this actually is true. I like this Dark Viper guy. He's got a good point. I'm going to stop engaging with Chud Logic, blah, blah, blah. You know, I don't think that Chud Logic is going to spin Dark Viper's audience, but you might be able to spin, you know, the other way around. But maybe he could. Maybe they'll watch that video too. And then maybe he's afraid Chud Logic will make a good point and some of his audience will watch Chud's video. And then all of a sudden he gets nay dumpstered. I don't know.
At this time, I had yet to see Chud's video, but when Tom tweeted, "Hello, Dark Viper," people are saying you filed a DMCA takedown on a fair use commentary video by Chud Logic, hoping to get some kind of comment or clarification. I said I agree, especially coming from the fair use guy. At this point, it wasn't even clear if Viper filed the DMCA. It wasn't filled out correctly and was full of spelling errors.
This is either someone trying really hard to sound like Dark Viper, or it's just him, because it is worded in a way that only he would say things. I'm gonna try not to like make fun of this too much here, but it opens with saying, "I have made particular study of fair use law."
But if he did, stating why is a reasonable ask. He was acting so shifty on stream about it.
Dark Viper, were you the one who filed a DMCA on Chud Logic's reaction to you? Just wanted to clarify if that was you and not an impersonator.
Nicholas, I know you're a...
Oh, Nicholas Diorio.
Historic star.
Kind of true, but based.
I don't care.
Okay. Well, that's an interesting response. Okay.
He screenshotted my tweet and said, "I gotta say, the staggering irony of you going after Hassan right now for being uninformed and yet speaking confidently, then coming out with this take that suggests the absolute polar opposite of my viewpoint that I've repeated ad nauseum for the past 4 years is breathtaking, my dude." He then messaged me 2 videos timestamped with him saying he doesn't think React content falls under fair use, but even if it did, he doesn't care.
While I
Is that what he said? He just doesn't care? Why?
I did take one paragraph to point out that the React content I was criticizing is not protected under American fair use law. I further went on to say that
I guess I'm moving to China, baby.
Even if it was,
because they got Sonic Hedgehog. They got Sonic Hot Dog over there. Okay, they got some really interesting shit over there. They let you do anything. You could have knockoff Sonic, knockoff Mario, as long as you just kind of change one little thing about it. So let's go to China, dude. React in China.
I wouldn't care. The reason I think React content shouldn't exist has nothing to do with America's antiquated ideas of copyright.
At this point, I
Well, I mean, if America said it was okay, then America #1, baby.
I was confused because what did I get wrong that was on the level of Hassan? All I did was make a tweet, and it was that I called him the fair use guy. Viper's talking past me a bit. When I'm calling him the fair use guy, I just mean he's somebody who argues about it, which he did in his document. He cited Legal Eagle's video on fair use when making his own video.
You can watch Legal Eagle be the 900th lawyer to explain this.
All I'm saying here is he should give a statement for why he struck it down, not why he's a champion of fair use, which I think is how he's taking it. He wants to argue the
Hey, listen, he's the fucking real hero here, right, guys?
semantics of me calling him the fair use guy. Am I the fair use guy, Willie? Is that even in the ballpark of who I am? And
yeah, isn't it? that's how he likes to define himself. Like, he is the fair use guy. That's his entire thing. That's like his whole shtick at this point. He's the fair use guy. He's the guy that like talks about fair use a lot.
Clarify, you were the most infamous for saying React content isn't fair use, which I don't even think your stance is crazy. You should address the Chud thing if you haven't and show receipts for why you struck it, if you even did. He then replies, "Do you honestly think my stance actually matters?" Yes, it actually matters more than anyone else in this situation.
Well, you're the one DMCAing him, so yeah. I mean, like, if he had just said, like, yes, that was me, I don't want people reacting to my videos. Okay. But instead, he's like playing this weird game. It's bizarre.
You're the copyright holder. He just doesn't act like a normal person. Everyone else is acting so reasonable, and he's so over the top. He then hits me with, "How long have you been doing?"
It comes off as very It comes off as like immature when you strike somebody's video down, and then we're like, "Oh, was that you?" You're just like, "Well, does it matter? What blah blah blah." I don't think. It's just like, say, "Yeah, I did. I don't like when people react to my full videos. I think it's wrong." Okay, have a clear stance, set a clear boundary, and stop responding. But when you act like this, it comes off weaselly. You come off like fucking Randall from Recess.
Doing this, Willie. At this point, I realize I'm talking to a crazy person. He's not directly answering anything. I'm just here for the ride now. I go a long time. He states, "I have no way to not be patronizing when I say this. Perhaps not long enough. Have you taken a peruse at what's being said about me? I don't care. I just want to know if you struck the video."
Did he say, "Have you taken a peruse"?
You taken a peruse?
I don't think that's how you use that. I think you would have said, "Have you perused what's being said about me?" Not taken a peruse. What the fuck is this guy talking about? Is this a new country? Peruse? Oh, I heard it was beautiful this time of year.
What's being said about me? I don't care. I just want to know if you struck the video. It's a combination of things shown false in about a 6-second Google search, and that everything is false about him. All I wanted to know is if Viper struck Chud and why. He's being so indirect. If Viper just said, "Because I don't think it's fair use," that would have been a good enough reason for me. Chud's even been reasonable about it.
How is the market for your original work affected by this use? There is no reason to watch the original if you have viewed the re-upload. All information and graphics have already been seen. So, I think this is arguable as to whether that's the case, because I don't know. I'm willing to kind of accept that, yeah, it is obviously the full 9-minute video.
Yeah, but again, even if Chud reacted to it and like cut it down, nobody was going to go watch Dark Viper's video. That's the thing. Like nobody, if Chud Logic react to the video and he just took out like the main points and he represented like Dark Viper's perspective and then he took the main points out and he highly edited the video, nobody's still going to go and watch Dark Viper's original like video. It's just not going to happen, right? And that doesn't mean that I'm 100% right about everything, but I will say that like the argument of like, well, they have no reason to watch it now. Yeah, they're never going to. Like they're never going to. The people that are going to watch it anyway, again, they're going to do that regardless. Like it doesn't. They're not good, but they're not going to. It's not going to increase the amount of people that watch it. Like if you watch Chud Logic's video criticizing this guy, you're not going to go watch Dark Viper's video afterwards, as long as he's properly representing everything. So, like, I just that argument to me isn't like particularly compelling. But
he uploaded,
especially since it's a conversational thing. It's not like it's a. It's not like it's like I said, it's not like it's an entertainment reaction. It's a conversational reaction.
But like, what with the way it's been transformed and the way that I'm commentating and things like that, is it really like a replacement to the original work? Like, this is something where I think it's a bit uncertain as to how that would be viewed. Yeah, it was a 9-minute video and my edit of it was like between 35 and 40 minutes or something like that. So yeah, this is one factor.
I say, if anything, people would be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch this full video. I'm just going to go watch the original instead." Like, I think that would be more likely to happen.
I'm not certain on that. You know,
has Dark Viper reacted to speedruns on GTA 5 story? Did he do that before?
Legally, not sure what the situation would be, but I think that I would, be willing to argue that there's a case to be made that that isn't necessarily true.
But he's bouncing all over the place, relating it back to my drama with Hassan, that people should give him the benefit of the doubt. He then asked me if I know what a DMCA is, and he says he can't file a false DMCA if it's his content in the video. But again, he's arguing semantics. He knows what I mean. The colloquial term for a false DMCA is when somebody strikes a video not because of their IP, but because of what the person has to say. He then
yeah, that makes sense.
Goes, people have no clue what fair use defends. Consequently, any use of DMCA will create some ire with people. If you struck down Hassan or XQC because they got up and left, or a streamer who didn't add anything, nobody would care. People are mad because you took down a 35-minute critical reaction video of your 9-minute video. This is stupid because Viper's critique of React content is that they're taking the hard labor of others and passing it off as their own, not adding anything worthwhile.
And how React content harms everyone except the reactors. Reactors...
Yeah, and their audience that enjoys it. And I would argue the person being reacted to, as long as the reaction is transformative.
I mean the people who watch videos and pause occasionally. Some other things people...
Occasionally? That's not, like, again, that's so vague. You know, it's just such a vague thing. Occasionally pause. Who the fuck is occasion? I mean, if you're occasionally pausing, like XQC, yeah, I don't think that that's right. We're not talking about that. Chud Logic doesn't occasionally pause. If anything, Chud Logic occasionally unpauses. You know? Right? That's what a lot of us do, because we're trying to give, like, actual commentary. We have a lot to say. That's why people tend to like gravitate towards us. The people who do. There's a lot of things to say. It's not just an occasional pause.
Stupidly called reactions, like commentary content, can be fair use, but not watch parties. How skilled you are at pressing the pause button.
Well, a watch party is not a fucking commentary video.
And having a discussion with your chat is entirely irrelevant.
Chud reacted to a low-effort 9-minute stream segment of Viper.
I mean, I think that like pausing and talking to your chat when it's relevant isn't a bad thing. I don't think that that invalidates it. You know, if you're pausing and having a conversation with your chat because maybe they disagree with something that you said, I think that's fine. I mean, occasionally I'm sure I'll pause and like say something that's not relevant to the video when somebody donates money, but
for being salty that Jax Films was getting praised for criticizing Sniper Wolf. Chud reacting to and making fun of Viper took more time and effort than Viper's original video.
What Sniper Wolf does is orders of magnitude more creative, or at least what editors do, than what Asmongold does.
That I very highly disagree with. More than what Asmongold does? I don't know about that. Okay. She doesn't even credit the person. Like, if your entire thing is, like, it hurts the creator, she doesn't credit anybody. That hurts every creator she's reacting to. What are you talking about? She doesn't even put the fucking person on the goddamn screen. Unless she's changed recently, I have no idea. But that's the problem with her content. That's the biggest criticism, I think, is that she doesn't give anybody she doesn't give them credit, the people that she's reacting to. She doesn't put it on the screen and give them like an opportunity to become like a larger creator. She just takes it. Her reaction is not transformative. Well, I don't know, maybe it is. It's nothing particularly interesting about what she has to say, but the biggest issue is that she doesn't credit them. How is it worse? I'd argue that, and whatever Asmongold's doing has an exponentially more positive, or at the very least neutral impact than what the fuck Sniper Wolf's doing.
He is just creating these distinctions where no distinction exists because he wants to shit on the streamers more. That's my interpretation of this. I don't see any other way of interpreting this, because you can have criticism of Asmongold's React stuff, and there's some good arguments against it and whatever. But like, Asmongold does say a lot of stuff when he's watching these videos. That doesn't mean legally he's just...
And he's been a gamer for like a long time. So when he's reacting to gaming stuff, like he has, he generally has something to say. You know, that's, yeah.
Justified, because I don't know if that is the case. But the idea that like Sniper Wolf is more creative, I don't know. Has he even watched the fucking Sniper Wolf video?
Doomer Media gave a great take for why...
I think that he just thinks that anybody who's not talking about his autistic passion, you know, his autistic fixation, which is not a slur, by the way, guys, okay? It's okay to have your autistic fixation. We all have our fixations, all right? I like dark brown nipples. Weird thing to say. Anyway, anybody who doesn't hyper focus on what he has to say or what he I think that's the problem. So like if you're talking about Sniper Wolf, but you're not talking about what I'm talking about, like this is a problem. Like you don't get it. I don't know what it is. I think that he just lacks social ability. I think he like really heavily lacks like just social function and ability. He seems to lack the ability to keep friends, make compromise with people. Or anything. He seems a little, I don't know, weirdly selfish.
Why this point makes no sense, even using Viper's logic.
Looking at Dark Viper's original argument, there is no ethical justification for striking Chud's video. It is not parasitic. It is not exploitative. It is not lazy, and it is not a market replacement. The only justifications you can really give are legal justifications, which should not matter because Dark Viper himself is claiming that the legal arguments don't matter.
Oh, shit, that's a good fucking point, brother. I never thought of it like that. That's fucking interesting. What was that guy's name? Dookie? Doomer? All right, his name is Doomer. Interesting.
I just don't know anybody who watches Chud's video tearing into Mad and views it as a market replacement. If I'm wrong, he should be able to show the damages, similar to how Mad Seasons did when Asmon was using his title. Here's the other thing with Viper, every time someone has a critique of them, he claims that it's out of context when it's not.
Hey guys, I'm gonna take this thing entirely out of context. He is so keen to poison
everything is out of context when people think I'm wrong, by the way.
You against this 14-page, meticulously argued document that he goes to the length of finding tweets out of context. He doesn't show the context.
And to say that I'm taking things out of context to poison the well is very disingenuous because I didn't take them out of context. I'll show you the whole context right here. One of his fans pointed out their disappointment.
It's because you're not capturing the feeling that Dark Viper has. I think that's a big part of it. Dark Viper has a feeling about the content that he's making, and you're not understanding his feeling. And because you don't understand his feeling, you're not taking it in the right context. There's a pathway of logic and interpretation that you just don't get when you disagree with Dark Viper. And he's just he's abysmal dog shit at getting you to understand his perspective. And part of that might be because his perspective is wrong or shit. I don't know. But that's what it comes down to, is that like that's where his frustrations lie. Is that like you aren't, it's not that you're, that's what it really boils down to. It's not that you're out of context, you just aren't interpreting his feelings the right way. And since he's not getting the response that he wants out of your feelings, that's why to him it's out of context. To him it just feels wrong. It feels icky. And like out of context means, oh, that feels icky, you know?
It meant that he would compare React streamers to someone that would commit sexual abuse. And he argued with this person by saying that their behavior is similar to someone that would sexually abuse someone.
Why I don't drug Willie Mac before I react to his stuff like I do those girls. I'm kidding. That's terrible.
People who go around in real life and drug and rape people, so...
I just wish every person who makes that claim would care enough to go back and read my old essay. And in the context of my original essay, these references are still perfectly fine.
Viper then says, I perhaps may have read more in regards to fair use than any person alive.
Oh, big fair use guy, huh? You must be a fair use guy.
Then corrects himself to any person relating to this case. He then says he took down the reaction video not because of the content, but because it was a reaction video. He then wraps up this anime-esque monologue by connecting it back to me calling him the fair use guy. And I'm like, but you are the fair use guy. You just said you know about it more than anyone else alive, and you talk about it routinely.
If you read into it, fair use is incredibly weak in what it defends. There are even courts that may have ruled against H3H3 given how they've ruled in prior fair use cases.
What's with the lighting that this guy engages in?
He filed a strike against Chud, he unnecessarily listed his credentials, even though it's not relevant to people filling out the form.
What does it say?
Chud, he unnecessarily...
Hello, I have made particular study of fair use law. For example, I have read some fucking German guy versus Ethan Klein, I guess. Okay, great. So he read an article.
Barely listed his credentials, even though it's not relevant to people filling out the form. The fact that Matt is so mad that I called him the fair use guy is perfectly on brand for him. Viper disagreed, saying,
Thank you so much for $2 from Alvin Park. Imagine if DV is watching this stream. Nah, he wouldn't watch this, dude. Domestic violence would not watch this stream.
Like if you said Viper is the Lego guy, and when I said no, I'm not the Lego guy, you responded, why are you bringing up Lego right now in my DMs? Checkmate. Bro, if you made a 14-page essay about Lego and then wrote in my DMs that you know more about Lego than anyone else alive, I would call you the Lego guy.
You're a big Lego guy, huh?
I feel
they're all right. I like Legos.
I feel like I'm talking to a schizophrenic. He'd make a video and repeat this without showing any of the context of him calling himself a fair use.
It's interesting because he is the fair use guy. I don't know why he finds that to be demeaning or like a slur. I don't understand Dark Viper. Like it's little things like that. No, I'm not the fair use guy, but you are. So like, why don't you just own that? I feel like he's responding to tones instead of responding to words. Oh, you're a fair use guy, huh? And his interpretation is that's supposed to be derogatory in some capacity. So because he feels like it's supposed to be derogatory, he denies it vehemently. It's just like that doesn't make any fucking sense to me, man. It's just bizarre as hell.
Expert.
Especially coming from the fair use guy.
In my work, multiple times, I have specifically laid out that my criticism of reaction content has nothing to do with fair use. Willie here showcases how none of these people had...
Why? Why wouldn't it have to do with fair use? I think, actually, him saying that makes sense to me. Because I feel like he actually doesn't think that people are violating fair use. Because I can't interpret it any other way. If he doesn't care about the fair use argument, then he's just giving himself plausible deniability to turn around and say, yeah, I know that this has been deemed illegal, but I don't care about that. So why else would you say that? Like, I mean, that should be the whole determining factor. No, thank you so much for the $5 from Grut and HGH. Dark Viper's basically, a basic thought is react content is legally gray. However, he's being a hyperbolic turd when hyperfocusing on legally right equals morally right. Sure, I guess.
Any interest in watching even one of the videos I've made outlining my thoughts on this topic. Yet even despite being aware of their ignorance, they don't care. They still make claims like this one.
I did watch your original video and read your essay. Again,
yeah, I'm pretty sure Willie Mac actually puts effort into his content. You know, he's not some guy named Popping Up.
The only reason I called you the fair use guy is because you argue against it with react content, which is true.
I actually DM'd Willie Mac Show and said, what the fuck you...
That's why it's so weird. He called him Willie Mac Show. I actually DM'd Willie Mac Show. Why? Why are you calling him? This is weird to me. This is fucking Willie Mac.
Talking about, I'm clearly not the fair use guy.
I DM'd Joe Rogan Experience. Fuck.
Should not said, bro, if you're not the fair use guy, why are you in my DMs talking about fair use? Like if he called me the king of Lego and I messaged him and said, hey, I'm not the king of Lego, what are you talking about? For Willie, that would be all the confirmation that he needs that I am actually the king of Lego.
Am I crazy?
I'm not understanding this point at all.
He did call himself an expert in fair use. He knows more than anyone else related to this case. I wish you shared that DM. I feel like I'm getting trolled.
None of these people, when wanting to understand my positions or why I was doing what I was doing, thought to look at the entire series that explains exactly that. I sincerely cannot fathom that level of stupidity or indifference to the truth.
Damn, he very quickly gets into condescension when he feels like he's in the right and you're in the wrong. He must be like a real fun guy to be around. I wonder why he doesn't have any friends.
I have now watched all of Viper's React content series, and it is just the same video reposted over and over again with no new data or findings. Viper would give his reasoning for striking Chud, saying that it's not because of the criticism or the hate, but because React content in principle is immoral.
I dislike when my view is characterized by a disagreement over people adding to the content, as this is what others complain about, but not me. It would be irrelevant to me if the video XQC was watching was about what it was like to live with severe brain damage, something he could provide sincere insight into. It would be
Why?
Equally as irrelevant to me if Hassan Pike was watching a video about how to exploit people for fame and fortune while being a lying hypocrite. Something that appears to be the only thing he actually
Wow, he could be so based if he wasn't so fucking annoying, huh?
he has expertise in. It wouldn't matter to me because addition is irrelevant to my issues with reaction content.
I feel like that addition is extraordinarily relevant to most people in general.
To give a very, very brief summary, my issues are with the market impact of reaction content. We have two groups of people,
What are you, a capitalist pussy?
Reactors and creators. But only one of these puts forth effort and incurs risk and cost.
I already showed why I disagree with him, but he believes it and he was willing to take it to court. And Viper has every legal right to do that. I just don't think this case lines up with his moral reasoning. Chud doesn't have money to go to court, so he had to take the video down.
I'm sure Chud does well enough to go to court. It's not even about what, I mean, maybe he said that. From what I remember, because I watched it, it didn't sound like he said he doesn't have the money. I think he like focused on part of it because it's fucking expensive. But is it worth going to court? Like stressing yourself out over something for what? Like there's no productive reason. Like he doesn't lose out because he's not really able to react to Dark Viper's videos in the way that he typically does. And it's a stressor that's just not worth engaging in. There are better things to do, like making more money than taking Dark Viper to fucking court. Like honestly, it's a waste of time. It's one person's opinion that nobody really gives a shit about. Like the most charitable interpretation is like, yeah, I think he has a point, but he's fucking annoying. That's the most charitable interpretation. He's fucking annoying about it. So,
but then
thank you so much for the 1 month medium gut from Astro. Have you seen Destiny vs XQC with Turkey Tom debate about reaction months ago? I had a lot of points from both sides. Yeah, I probably did. Yeah.
Viper arguably started to falsely copy.
I think I probably did. I usually will react to all those React conversations.
Copyright strike people. He admitted to abusing the DMCA system when it comes to unfavorable clips of him. So people start making fun of him, using old clips of him getting unironically angry while playing Among Us.
He runs around the entire fucking map to come to O2. And I'm like, I had nothing to say. I was literally speechless. I did not speak that entire time because I was so confused why we were starting the game.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Holy shit. Dude, how is this guy not a fucking lolcow? That's so unhinged. Why are you like, listen, I remember like I used to get really heated when I'd play like arenas in World of Warcraft and stuff. And like I looking back, I like, damn, I wish I didn't get so worked up. Because it's annoying when like somebody makes like a little mistake and people flip out. But I mean, it seems like he's still that guy. You know, he just seems like he's still that like sensitive, fucking annoying guy.
I have never been this mad at a person the entirety of my life.
What's your life like, brother? What's your life like? Where this is the worst thing that happened to you is Among Us. Among Us is the worst. This is the worst thing that's going on in your life. You're traumatized from conversations about React content. You're fucking more angry than you've ever been before in your entire life over fucking Among Us. What's your life like, brother? What the fuck is going on? Like, what's a day in the life of Dark Viper like? This is fucking wild. There we go.
I apologize. I'm still a little new at the game.
If you don't even know how to win the game, why are you playing?
I do.
Oh my god, this is so pathetic. Especially over Among Us. I mean, if you're at least doing competitive fucking arenas, you got to be more understanding. Like, if you're raging because of Dota, I get it more than raging over Among Us. It's fucking Among Us, brother. And you're playing with fans. I don't understand. How does this guy have fans?
Sorry, No, I'm just gonna ban Scott forever because I'm gonna associate this with Scott for the rest of my fucking life.
Matt's response is to strike the video because it's out of context.
Since this clip has once again been brought up on Twitter by someone who's disingenuous with it.
To be fair, he said he was frustrated because he was dealing with his recent Hashimoto's disease diet. I don't care. He's saying he's traumatized by React content. I don't care. It's an autoimmune disorder. This immune system creates antibodies that attack the thyroid cells as if they were bacteria, viruses, or some other foreign body. Okay, that sucks. Sorry. It's still unhinged fucking behavior that this guy's engaging in. It's weird. If he thinks like it's okay, he's always a crybaby. I don't know if this like I don't know what to tell you, man.
Whatever. I've now said it.
Like, that's sad, but if true, I don't really know if it's true. But this guy's talking about how he's fucking traumatized from React content. I have a hard time believing that this stress over his potential diagnosis is really like what's happening. If anything, he just seems to be an unhinged person in the first place.
About striking this video. I don't want to.
But you're gonna anyway.
Or people want to paint me as this DMCA hungry guy. That's generally speaking not me. But I just think this clip is just contributing to misinformation. And I don't think I have some moral obligation.
Misinformation is based as hell, dude. You can't strike people down for fucking misinformation, can you?
To contribute.
That would be like a defamation suit. It's a whole different thing, brother.
Or to allow misinformation.
It's not out of context or misinformation, but even if it was, that's not what the DMCA system is for. You're abusing it because you're embarrassed of these clips. That's wrong. People start goofing on him by posting an old clip of him saying the N-word.
I gave him a weapon. Nigga, bullshit. Wait. I said it with an A.
Andy
And what I think is so funny about that clip is hearing that, to me, I'm almost guarantee you that he said that on purpose and then he pretended that he didn't because he thought it was funny. Which, by the way, I don't really care. I don't think you should use the word, but I don't care. But like that wasn't. I don't think that was one of those like moments where he's like, "Oh, I want to say this and pretend like I didn't. I want to test my boundaries." It's like, dude, what are you doing there?
Strikes it too because he's embarrassed.
I am the rights holder. Of course, I'm going to take down the things I don't like that serve no constructive purpose and keep up those I do like or serve some purpose.
Dude, all this guy does is strike people because he gets upset. What a fucking pussy.
This particular clip exists for no other purpose than to allow people to disingenuously attack me with it because of the
like people do this shit all the time. Like there are people that are like, "Oh, you cheated on your wife before." It's like, dude, you know I've been in a fucking non-monogamous relationship for like 10 years. I've never done anything outside my boundaries of my relationship, but people still say it, and I fucking die. People still say it, and it's as wrong. It's misinformation. It's out of context. You don't see me going around trying to fucking DMCA strike people. You just move on. It's like, okay, those people are just not worth anything, worth engaging with. I don't care. Like, what's the point? It's just like, what are you doing? He's a fucking baby.
Mistake I made when mimicking Franklin due to my surprise at the randomized dialogue.
When ChudLogic puts more effort into his reaction video than Viper did in his original video, he strikes it on principle of it being react content. But when people post only the necessary clip, he strikes it because it's out of context. In short, I think this is the last guy I want in favor arguing for copyright. He's emotionally blinded. His ideas aren't well thought out. He engages with criticism poorly, discrediting critics by using semantics, and speaks as if his opinions are based in fact when they're not.
It is just annoying that he doesn't explain at all why there could be some small impact that he's unable to see.
Bruh, I wish you'd reflect on that.
That's transformative, guys. Laughing is transformative. Don't worry.
And all I see are demons. Viper's a very emotional guy. We talked about how Ethan traumatized him for saying 14 pages.
This
traumatized him.
Reminded me that very recently I found out that Ethan has something like 6 different sound effects of me on his podcast.
Damn, that's kind of cool, brother. You don't like that? I think that's kind of interesting.
Not only that, he has used them frequently for over 2 years. That is
sad stuff, brother.
Just really fucked up.
It's interesting that you didn't know about it for 2 years. Because he said, didn't he just say he found out recently, which means you didn't even know that it existed, so it had no impact on you until you found out. And then what impact does it have on you if it had, like, if it didn't before? You know?
Divided by 14.
It's 14 pages. As someone,
hey, what's up, Breon? Thank you for the 6 months small gut, half a year. Yes, sir. Salute.
Who has been incessantly harassed by him for years in front of thousands, he is one of those truly deserving of being driven off the internet. I don't know how sick of an individual you have to be to do something like this.
You're a sick individual. Well, I heard that he might have lupus, so maybe he's that's how he's sick.
Like, if he was using it in some wholesome way, or
if he was using it in a way that I liked, it would be okay. But since I don't like it, I think that this is illegal.
Shouting me out in some positive way, fine. But he's just using it to mock me.
Good. After yelling at the guy,
guys, it's me. It makes me sad, so it's bad. It's a hate crime because I hated it. Incredible stuff.
Among Us, Viper would write, Scott will not be unbanned. It was not simply that I was having a bad day. I was close to tears at the beginning of the stream. I felt impressively down, perhaps due to a lack of caffeine as I was kicking soft drink. I can't.
Sorry, is this motherfucker saying that he was detoxing off of caffeine? Is he? I didn't have my cigarette for the day. I was really upset because I didn't have my cigarettes. What the fuck? This guy's so weird. He literally gave us the I didn't smoke my cigarette for the day. I didn't have my morning cup of coffee. He's a literal Facebook mom meme. Don't talk to me before my first cup of coffee of the day. What the fuck? Oh my god. And listen, I'm not gonna lie. Like, sure, I'm sure that like having caffeine dependence and then not being on caffeine will make you cranky. That's a your fault thing, though. That's like you're the asshole. So if you go off the rails and you act like a dick, it's fine. Like, it is what it is. But afterwards, you should be like, yeah, my bust, friends. You know, what is this, that fucking cringe Saved by the Bell episode where she gets addicted to caffeine and starts singing that song? I'm so excited. And starts crying. Kind of an old reference that you guys may not understand. But I have an older audience, so.
Came to the one thing I love at the moment, Among Us. To have it ruined by a guy who didn't just play badly.
Bro, you love Among Us that much? This guy loves Among Us like I love my wife. You fuck Among Us? Maybe he fucks like a plushie. That could be all right. Well, I mean, if that's what you're doing, brother, God bless you.
He literally didn't play. After this, Viper uploaded a video saying he has no friends.
A lot of my life, I've wanted to play board games. Board games always look so enjoyable, but I had no friends to play them with.
Isn't there like a tabletop simulator that you could buy?
And the friends that I did have made it even worse, that they would play board games and not invite me.
Wow. I wonder why, brother. That's a sad thing. Holy fuck. I feel like if he would drop the react shit, then maybe he'd actually have some fucking friends. What the fuck, dude? That's so sad. Your own friends didn't want to play with you. Probably because you were annoying as shit. And that's sad because you're a kid, but like, you're annoying as hell, brother. That's why people don't like you, man. And like that, you can still work on that. You can become a nicer, more accepting person, Dark Viper. All right, here's what we'll do. All right, Vince Vintage and me will play a D&D with you online. All right, I'll tell you. I can get him to do it. Okay, I know a guy. All right, I know a guy. I'm gonna fucking die. I cornered myself. Oh, piss on my balls. All right, let's do it, man. Let's do a stream. Let's do a stream together. But if you're annoying, I'm gonna make fun of you. All right, just keep that in mind.
Huh, I wonder why.
It takes something like half an hour to fill the lobby. Like, you guys may think I'm super famous and popular and shit, but there's not a heap of people who want to play with me.
I wonder why.
As a matter of fact, I once more asked...
I mean, you banned a guy for being bad at a video game.
A Discord full of other streamers if they wanted to play with me, and I got no responses. Again,
Oh, that's so fucking sad, brother.
I think it's maybe the third or fourth time I've tried. I've left that server now because it just brought back all the memories of my fucking friends not inviting me to play games.
Oh, this is so fucked up. I feel bad for this guy, but also I don't care. It's so fucked up, though. Damn, this guy really... That's so fucking mean, bro. His own friends. Oh, my God. Has he ever considered changing his behavior and being a more likable person? I don't fucking even know.
Just brought up those feelings. I don't like those feelings. I don't
say, listen, I respect that, my man.
I have people I'm playing with who are experienced with the game because that's what I requested, and so I kill a guy and the game doesn't end. I'm sitting there like, the game's not ending. The game is not ending. Why is the game not ending? I'm not a person who is lost for words very often, but my body from the person I killed was found, and they accused me of the kill.
What the hell is he talking about?
And I literally didn't speak. I was so just the
Oh, he's talking about Among Us.
Weight of still being in the game was still washing over me. I was just having that bad of a day, and I'm like, is this it? Is this me one day doing something for myself, and this is the situation I find myself in?
I have a question for you, Dark Viper. Have you ever loved before? What the fuck are you talking about, dog?
And so the game plays out for another 10 minutes, and me sitting there just going, I can't believe we're still in this game. And we end up losing. And I go off at this guy. I was just so fucking pissed that my one chance to save my day, to make myself feel good, is ruined by this guy who joined a game that he clearly should not have been in because he mustn't be experienced at the game, which was the very thing that I requested. And so I timed him out. And then I realized, like, I don't want to see this person ever again. I don't want to remember this bad day. I want to move on with my life, smooth sailing, so I banned this person. They were in a lobby they should not have been in, explicitly, and made no mention of their inexperience of the game, clearly deserving of a ban.
You know, I don't understand what's happening right now, man. Listen, if you set the standard that you wanted to make sure that the people who played were experienced for whatever fucking reason, even though this is a literal fan service game, that's fine. But having a fucking meltdown about it, like if he had just been like, yeah, man, listen, this is supposed to be like for good Among Us players. Sorry, bro, you're out. I would have been like, okay, but you're screaming, man. Over again, I remind you, Among Us is a fan service game. It is not a competitive game. It's a fan service game. It's not a game of like fucking Valorant. It's for fan service. It can be fun, but that's all it is. So what the fuck are you talking about, doggy? What are you talking about, brother? It's just so weird.
This day sucks. It is the culmination of every negative thing in my life.
Gotcha.
And reinforces in me that I can't have a day to myself. I don't deserve shit. I will get back to fucking editing, people.
This is a grown-ass man. He is so set that reaction streamers are bad.
That's wild. I don't think, dude. I mean, he's 33. That's fucking, that's literal Among Us balls. Dude, that's so sad. This guy is fucking, like, insufferable. This guy is impossible. I could not imagine, like, being that old and being that just... Like, dude, what happened? What happened in your life that made you such an entitled person? Like, that's fucking banana boats to me.
Bad people that he cuts off friends over it. Carl Jobs took a sponsorship from Asmongold's PC company, and since Asmon makes React content, Carl essentially took blood money. Carl said, yes, this is the reason. I find the reason to be unhealthy and not a good thing. The email is insane. Carl, I don't have people close to me by choice. Friendship requires trust, and I don't give that
I don't think he has anybody close to him at all.
out unless out of necessity. I've spent most of my life being kicked by those I've given even a measure of trust to.
I feel like Dark Viper is the kind of guy that grew up like a nerd that people didn't really like too much, which is sad, obviously. But he grew up as like kind of a nerd that people didn't like too much. And he's had a chip on his shoulder, and he's kind of created this scenario where I don't really know. Like, I wonder if he destroys these relationships. I don't get it. Like, maybe he's been like really sheltered by his mom and dad because he's been bullied a lot. So they like try to treat him really nicely, and they gave him whatever he wants. And now he's just like a fucking mess. You know, I feel like we could all identify with not being liked sometimes. Those are formative moments. So that just is what it is. I just don't get the guy. Thank you so much for the $10 from Rockbiter. Had a former friend like this, acted like an ass, and was condescending to everyone, then complained when people didn't want to hang out with him. Complete lack of self-worth. Yeah, exactly. I think he's like a guy that people didn't really like when he's younger, and his parents gave him everything that he wanted. He seems like kind of like an entitled person that's always like he's an asshole. You know, he's just like an asshole. Yeah.
Regardless of whether you personally felt it meaningful, you broke the small measure of trust I gave you. A currency more rare than anything on this earth.
That real? A currency more rare than anything on this earth? What the fuck?
I am under no obligation to associate with you anymore.
What is so interesting to me here too is like, there's two levels of this. Level one is that you're not going to be friends with somebody who takes this money. That's bad enough by itself. Level two is that you feel the need to make a point about it. I don't know if people online know this. It's possible to not associate with people and not make a point out of it. You don't have to tell, hey guys, I'm leaving this community 5 fucking times before you leave a community. You don't have to explicitly say you're not friends with somebody. You can just move on. But making a point out of it over and over again is a desperate plea for attention. Dark Viper isn't just disconnecting a friendship. He's begging for attention over it. And to me, that communicates that he desperately wants Carl to say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's the desired outcome. He wants the guy to be like apologetic for fucking getting that bag. Like, ethically, in my opinion. Like, how is it unethical? Because you don't like Asmongold. Who gives a shit? You know, and it's just like, it's so interesting. It's not just a plea. It's not just like it's a desperate plea for attention. And the leverage here is nothing. You don't provide anybody any value. Like, let's be real. Like, you're an obnoxious, annoying, entitled person, and you probably can't have a one-on-one conversation about someone else's problems. You don't seem like the kind of person that could sit down for like a half an hour and be like, yeah, man, I'm having a bad day. Here's what's going on. Like, you kind of seem like the type of person who waits to talk. Yeah, man, I'm having like a real bad day. My mom is sick. Yeah, I understand because this guy reacted to my video once. Like, that's what I would see as an organic conversation to DarkViperAU. Okay. So, like, what are you leveraging at that point? You know, you can't just immediately assume that your relationship has value just because it is you. You need to provide other people value, you know, and being a fucking asshole is not going to, you know, satisfy that.
Feels betrayed because his friend got a sponsorship. You can't have anything nice if you're friends with Matt. No wonder the only people left in his life are his mods.
There was this one question he asked where he asked about like who I talk about. He asked who I talk to about this. Who do I bounce ideas off? And I said to him,
no one.
Like I don't talk to anyone really. And then I'm a bit of a loner.
And I am a little bit of a loner too. Like I am not really good at keeping up on like a lot of relationships with people, but that's by choice. That's it. Like I know it's by choice. Like I like my wife and I'd like to be around my wife, and I don't really maintain relationships with a lot of other people outside of that. My wife and my mother and family. I'm actually like more friendly with my family. I like my family. I have like a higher trust in my family, especially my cousins. They're like all my age. Those are the people that I choose to keep up with. But I do it by choice. I've never had a Discord full of creators that I've like, you guys want to play Among Us? And then I get rejected. Like I don't do that, you know? His doesn't seem to be by choice, man. He would probably say it was, but it seems like, well, nobody wants to be around this guy. I wonder if he understands why.
In some respects, consider myself to be an old dog who was kicked a lot when he was a young dog. And so I don't really trust anyone. I have no confidence.
An old dog that was kicked a lot when he was a young cat. Yeah.
I have... I just assume that everyone will eventually, like, work against my interests.
It's so weird. To say that they will work against my interests is not a human thing to say. If he had said, I assume that everybody at one point will, like, I don't know, will be bored of me or something, that'd be more like a relatable experience. But this guy's like, turn against my interests. It just sounds so bizarre. It's just such a weird, non-organic way to talk.
Unless there's an explicit reason for them not to. Just never really had anyone in my life that I can trust a lot.
Not even your mom, bro? That's fucked up.
The closest thing I have now is my mods.
Damn. You pay those people too?
But it's not the same thing. You know,
okay,
like if I'm going to talk to anyone about anything, it is my mods.
How can you have no one you trust? If there's
fucking so sad. And also, but he's such an asshole. I don't care. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck you, bro.
Literally nobody that you trust, there probably is something wrong with you.
Yeah, honestly.
Rather than everyone else. You might be kind of...
This is why he's screaming, because he has nobody. Here's the thing. I feel like, because again, so having a good friend means that friend doesn't tell you everything that you want. That's what I think. So, like, there are times where I will complain about stuff, and my wife will say, this is not the big deal that you think it is. She'll say it in a nice way. And it's annoying when you hear stuff like that, because you're just like, well, fuck you. That feels invalidating. But eventually you come to it, you're like, you know what? You're right. It takes some processing time, but you're right. Right? That's normal. Dark Viper, I feel like, is the kind of guy where if he had expressed something like, oh, man, this react, blah, 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 bullshit. And people are like, yeah, man, this is not that big of a deal. He would have a fucking meltdown about that. I genuinely think he would. He seems to be the kind of person that can't have a genuine relationship because he'll get upset if you don't affirm everything that he's feeling and thinking. I honestly believe that that's the kind of person that he would be. And I don't think that that's unrealistic to think that.
Of a schizo person. I mean, this is just very sad to listen to.
He's like this with everything. A fellow GTA 5 speedrunner trolls on a forum and Matt is traumatized.
Why must my life suffer? Why must I suffer so with no one caring for so long?
Oh my god, this guy is so fucking annoying.
This man has gone out of...
This guy has a legitimate fucking victim complex.
...his way to insult me at every turn to make my life worse. I have not felt depression like I have experienced because of Rydog since I was a teenager.
Bro, I don't know what he's talking about, but this guy experiences depression over bad Among Us games. Like, this reminds me when I was like in my teenage years where the only thing that I had was video games. Like, I was a young guy and like I have ADHD and it was very serious when I was young. I had a lot of behavioral issues because I didn't have a father. And so I turned, especially once I came off my medication cold turkey, I pretty much dropped out of school and I turned to like video games. And video games was my entire life. And winning and losing meant way too much to me, and I had fucking problems with it. And I'd get really angry if I would lose, and I would be irate, and I would be a real piece of shit, you know? And some of those behaviors carried into my adulthood, but usually what happened is that they start going away mostly because you have better things to do. You have to make money, you have to make a living, your world changes, you get into relationships with people, they have to become a level of a priority, video games become less of a priority, and you have like growth moments. This guy is living like my 16-year-old life though. Like all he has is video games. He seems like the kind of guy that got popular when he was like young, started making money when he was young. So he never went through any kind of like struggle that would build character in a positive way. He's never had the life framing to be like, oh, this doesn't matter that much. This is what does matter. And now he's kind of just sitting here and he just sucks. He just kind of sucks to be around. That's what it seems like. He just seems like he sucks. Especially over fucking Among. I mean, like, it makes me really happy that I've had, and I haven't had like the most profound struggles in the world. You know what I mean? People certainly struggle more than me. I've had my relationship problems, and of course, acknowledging part of that is understanding that I'm part of the problem. Right? In many cases, we're all part of the problem. Even in a situation that's not ideal for us. But it makes me happy that I've struggled. I will say productively. You know, I've struggled productively in my life to be able to like have a better perspective on what the fuck is going on, because this guy is like, this is to me, and I could be wrong about how when he got popular, but this communicates to me that this guy never really struggled with anything that was particularly that fucking mattered. That's what it sounds like. He's never struggled with something that like mattered at all. He has no like real world perspective on life. He's completely unrelatable. As he gets older and like he stays, his age, his brain age stays the same. He's going to struggle more and more developing friends because he's just not growing up. You know, I just, it's a sad thing, man. But
the thought of living in this world where a single man can cause me so much suffering and people will
don't be a single man, brother.
Defend his right to do it. I just don't want to live in this world anymore.
What did he do?
He's giving us the boogie bomb right here, dude.
He lied to the moderators and he removed his own speedruns, shut down a category, and doesn't turn on his FPS limit. What a bad guy. What a justified reaction. He made a 3-part video series because a speedrunner named Friendly Baron shit-talked how he ran the forum.
Frankly, I'm afraid I'll come off as petty at this point, but I literally can't fucking sleep. I need more
I can't sleep.
Closure.
I'm Dark Viper. I'm 5 seconds behind after 4 minutes. I'm gonna reset.
Where the fuck's the chopper?
Isn't that normal? I don't know how speedruns work. Either way, it doesn't seem like a huge criticism. It just seems like a fucking silly little bullshit. Like he's just fucking with him.
Dead. Gonna reset like Dark Viper.
You're losing sleep over this. Bro, somebody beats him in a speedrun and he acts like it ruined his life. A guy named Unnamed beat GTA without taking...
I feel like if this guy was more likable, he wouldn't be getting all this criticism. Because my understanding is that like a lot of speedrunners will restart the game when they get to a point where they feel like they're not going to be able to beat the speed run, which kind of makes sense in one hand because it feels like a wasted run. The other hand, it focuses. I feel like mentally it focuses too much on like breaking the speed run and not enough on like playing the game, having fun, and practicing. Right? Just because you've messed up one point, it doesn't mean that you'll mess up. You know, you could practice for the other points. I don't know. I don't know shit about speedrunning, but it sounds more like these people are making fun of him because he's an asshole. You know, like you guys probably have friends that are like pieces of shit, and then you probably have friends that are like really nice to you, but they have the same behaviors, and you're nice to those friends though. Because they're not fucking assholes, right? So
damage. Viper, who was running that same category, then banned this guy from his YouTube and Twitch. Viper justified all of this by writing another brick of an essay. I have known for quite some time that other people were doing runs off this category. People that could run from dawn till dusk. People that had no reason to be entertaining, had fewer obligations, fewer distractions.
What obligation does this motherfucker have?
Sharing information with these people is almost entirely one-sided, or at least everything I developed for the run was public.
This is really sad. This is like sad too because it sounds like he desperately needs to be number one too. And in my experience, I felt like I needed to be the best in my life, which I think some people feel the same way, when I have nothing else going on. Now I am unashamed dog shit at any game because I have other things going for me. Like I don't need to be the best fucking player at this game for fucking certain. Because there's other things, I have other values in my life. Like I don't need to be affirmed by being good at a video game. You know what I mean? And I feel like what else does he have? Again, he has no friendships. He doesn't have like relationships in general. Like, what does he have? He doesn't even have caffeine anymore, guys. He's addicted. He's addicted. He can't even have his own caffeine. Just sad. To be fair with Baron's situation, Baron should talk to him a lot after begging Dark Viper to never mention him again. Okay, well maybe that's fair. Yeah, maybe there's context there that we don't have, but it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt too, because he's not like a likable person. And I just want to be clear, like there's levels of like your likability is kind of on you. You know, people are going to be likable for different things, and if like you're not likable, it's probably your fucking fault.
Knowledge. But the inverse was not true. The result was that anyone running alongside me was getting far more information. What sort of response did you expect from me? A hug? Your success does me no favors. On the contrary, it makes my life considerably worse. With the added fun that I will—
Your success makes my life worse, baby.
I'll have to field questions about this.
Humanity, society is a give and take relationship. And I've experienced a massive take with no give. And people seem to be confused as to why I'm not a fan of this. When I say he has made my life worse, measurably so. I was the only person who could have benefited significantly from doing this first. But not only that, failing to do this will now impact the rest of my career.
What's funny is this guy—
What the fuck is he talking about? Speedrunning?
I did give Viper tips on how to improve his run. Matt is always a victim. He's got ultimate victim.
It just sounds like he wants to be the best at something and he doesn't want anybody else to contest him. Then what's the point of being the best at something that nobody contests you? This guy's the reverse Goku, dude. What the fuck?
Victim status. Even how he talked about me is just weird.
This was just me talking to Willie Mack about him calling me a fair use guy. Despite that we had never spoken before, we did already follow each other on Twitter, so I figured why not.
Was this a meaningful video? Real question. Is this a meaningful video about Willie Mack, or is this him talking candidly?
The reason we followed each other is because of that old adage, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
And the reason
both of us think Hassan Piker is a blight on humanity and have made efforts to explain that to others.
My God, did
listen, I don't know. That sounds like a meaningful curated message that like he's actively and intentionally, like, I don't know. You understand what I'm saying? It's not casual. But it looks like he's casually playing a game. I've seen him do his content. He doesn't usually play games when he's making like very specific curated content, if that makes sense. But it sounds like does he just always talk like that? Like he's ready for a video? I mean, I know that I put it on a little bit when I do reactions, but this guy, like, I don't know, everything is so weird about him.
Did I simply follow you on Twitter? Are we playing Game of Thrones?
In my DMs,
Shit, I wish that show was better, brother.
Suggested that he hadn't even seen the video, and this was just some random tweet. And I was like, oh, okay. Then I guess I will. This is so confusing.
This is the entirety of our DMs in March. When did I say I didn't watch his video? He interprets things wrongly and then comes up with entire—
Well, he needs to interpret it his own way, because like his entire, like that just seems to be his go-to, because he says a lot. You're taking me out of context. You're taking me out of context. And so I think at this point, he's trained himself to victimize himself. So anytime that you disagree with him, you must have taken me out of context. What's the greatest way to take someone out of context? You didn't watch the video that I talked about. You didn't watch what I made on this particular topic. So you must be out of context. Everything is just trying to satisfy his preconceived notion that nobody that agrees with him, or that everybody that agrees with him, is taking him out of context. And in order to do that, you must not actually be watching stuff. So anything that you say is going to be an insinuation. We're at a point where if you disagree with him, that's an insinuation that you haven't watched whatever video he's referencing. That's what it boils down to. Because it has to be out of context. If you disagree with me, it's out of context. You don't understand. This is on you. This isn't on him. All right? It's not his inability to communicate. It's not in his inability to create meaningful friendships or relationships. It's everybody else's fault, and it's really everybody else's problem. He's a professional victim. Like that's why he's so unlikable. You know?
Entire stories in his head and spews it to his audience.
I thought he was discrediting what I said in the video.
How many people in his audience agree with him? I truly wonder. Like what kind of person is Dark Viper relatable to? Because I feel like he's not relatable to other people just like him, if that makes sense. He feels like the kind of person that's just like relatable to an audience of very gullible idiots that believe everything someone else says. Damn, that was a big explosion. I cummed when that happened.
I was.
He hadn't seen it though, and was just talking shit on Twitter. And so I leaked DMs, deleted DMs. He put out DMs. He's deleted DMs.
I had seen your video. I don't know why he's saying this. He then acts like I was so privileged to receive a DM from him, as if he doesn't send essays to everyone.
Also, a year or two earlier, he wrote a manifesto on React content where he drew parallels to rape. It's literally all he's known for in the commentary space. I feel...
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have to understand, if you're going to make some hyperbolic comparison about sexual assault, especially when it's something so fucking trivial, people are they're going to focus on that. And again, I think that Dark Viper feels like sexual assault is the same thing as being reacted to, because that is the kind of person he seems to be. And I think it's something that people should try to get used to understanding, is that there's a lot of people who don't talk in facts, they talk in emotion. And they're trying to communicate emotions more than they're trying to communicate what's actually going on in reality. They prioritize the way that they feel about things rather than what's actually going on. They don't parse their information or their feelings to other people. They just want you to communicate. So they know that sexual assault is a really bad thing. Very clearly, he doesn't understand how bad it is. He doesn't know anybody, or he's never been sexually assaulted. So he doesn't understand how horrific and intimate and destructive that event is for people. But he understands that it's a really bad thing, and he feels really bad. So like when he gets reacted to, he's getting raped. Like, I genuinely feel he feels this. He's a very entitled individual. And so when he says that, it's not just a hyperbolic comparison to him. I mean, I could be wrong. This is my opinion. I think that he feels that that is what's happening to him, because again, he doesn't understand sexual assault, because it's not something that's like relatable to him, but he knows it's a bad, he feels very bad. That's what you're going to be known for. Like, this is what you need, you know. And even if you still feel you're right, conceding that point, be like, yeah, you know what, that was a really shitty comparison. That would earn you credibility. But at this point, you saying that would just come off as like I don't think it would come off as genuine.
Very much so betrayed by this dude. That not only is he entirely ignorant of my work, but he just is just spreading lies. And obviously, I never drew
Willie Mack, the lie spreader,
parallels to rape. Like, the position is obviously so absurd that you would think someone with even half a brain, which I'm confident Willie Mack has, would know this has to be false, but he just didn't care.
You literally did do that, though, and it's what you are known for. Where is the lie?
You're a big you're the DMCA rape guy, huh?
Like, I talk to very few people.
Here's my question. What do you talk about when you are not online? I feel like Dark Viper is the kind of, I don't know why I keep saying AU. I'm doing what he did before. Willie Mack show. Dark Viper is the kind of guy that talks about stuff like this on the when he's like out at a party, if he ever goes out to one. Do you know how fucking cringe it is? When people ask me what I do for a living, I will never get into specifics. I'll be like, yeah, I'm like a commentary guy. I do like commentary on YouTube and TikTok. That's all I say. I'm not going to sit here and start explaining to you fucking Hassan lore. You know, like, that's not, it's fucking weird, right? It's just a weird thing to do, you know? So I enjoy my job, but like, I don't enjoy it. I mean, I understand that this is I talk about online stuff in like a very online niche community, and I find it entertaining, but I know that it's not particularly relatable. And it's not, I talk about it enough when I'm home, when I'm like at work, when I'm working, you know. I don't even talk about it with my wife too much. Sometimes I will. Like, she watches my streams, so she has an idea, so it's like more understandable for her. But this guy seems like the kind of guy who like really gets into this. Like, he's fucking
trust so few people. To have me reach out to talk to you for any reason is a very, very strange thing.
Okay. Seems pretty normal.
So lucky. Thank you, Viper, for sending me your essays.
Poo, pee, pee, penis and vagina. Women with dicks and weak men with vaginas.
In conclusion, Viper makes some good arguments against React content, but he's so unhinged that he makes the dialogue poison. He argues semantics.
This is Charlie's attempt to poison the well, and he hadn't seen my video. Hey guys, I'm gonna take this thing entirely out of context to present it as something that it clearly is not, in order to poison you against a 14-page meticulously written document.
Plays victim.
I like Dark Viper though, because since his you're right, he has some reasonable criticisms, but they're it's in a sea of unreasonable criticisms. And since this is the DMCA guy, this is like, whether he likes it or not, he is the #1 representation of the counter argument to React content. And since this is the figurehead, this movement's never going to be taken seriously. So unironically, Dark Viper not talking about this anymore is probably the best thing for his own argument, because he is just so he's just not a good representation of the movement. Like, that's literally all it is. It's like when a legitimate racist talks about how some movies are too woke now. It's like, yeah, that might be true, but you're actually racist, right? That's what we're kind of talking about here. Like, yeah, he might have a good point about some of the some things when it comes to React content, but he's so fucking annoying. Nobody gives a shit. That's where we're at here. So
14 pages.
As someone who has been
thank you so much from Skibbity Bibbity for the $2. You couldn't torture this info out of me.
incessantly harassed by him for years in front of thousands, he is one of those truly deserving of being driven off the
Hey, at least he's actually making money off of his Twitter. So there's some people who just tweet and they don't actually do anything with it. So you know what? Good for you, bro.
When I say he has made my life worse, measurably so. I was the only person who could have benefited significantly from doing this first.
And this is just a small example of him doing these things. He's so invested that he can't see anybody's point of view but his own. He hardly engages. He's the
Thank you so much for the 6 months of all got from Sophian Alexandru. 14 pages TLDR. Yeah, 14 pages, baby. That's all he's known for. 14 pages and comparing React content to sexual assault. Like, that's his whole thing.
Good guy, everyone else is bad, and that's how it's always been. I got a lot more videos coming out this month, so subscribe to the channel, and be sure to check out Fume. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina, Mac Monkey, Drain Kobex, Necro Valley, Stefan Bildman, Abby Blackbird, The Confusing Opinion, Eddie Bizzle, Tiz McFitz, Christopher H, TV Anthology Reviews, Hinklemore, Senial Music, Lucas If, ET Automatic, Fondor, Snoopy Poop Doop 2, and
Snoopy Poop Doop 2.
And the mega homies, Reynolds Hughes, Hellison, IGP, Zombie Fox, Your Taxi, Latchkey, Gothboy, Cyber Katie, Lori Loaded, Papa Gut.
Incredible stuff, brothers.